Despite the big day 2 of the Emilia Romagna round, exactly 10 points behind teammate Red Gardner and lost those 10 as in race 2 of the Dutch round. So Hector has done a solid enough job to get his coat under the ball. There's question marks about what Johnson will do next year and what he says to provide more likely that an opportunity to be on a super sport bike. But reminding people again of the sort of a rider he is. Top predominantly is good bike race, still competitive right now. There's some really good riders right out there. This is top the league now. Alongside Gareth Sherlock and Paddock, Boston on as row number 5. Brilliant UK round where he highest score 20 points there and top 10 finishes Boston and Lugano as well. Great to play the fourth. All of 2/3 of his points total in the second half of the season. So cruising in for a big finish. The ever improving Gerloff Kawasaki competition. Yeah, Gerloff just get the start off the speed on him in the second half of the year and cracked on. So we'll get the 94 out of the break. That's the flow off the grid. But happens to the fog row, Ryan Vickers, Gary Montella and Nico at the back. Row 7, Michael van der Mark and double starting Cousins. Now, that's one exciting. This is perhaps the fog then. Just been placed up against the experienced campaigner Michael Ruben and Alvin at Moto X, and Fox's done well in 4 of the last 5 races, having already come to the options over back to the stage earlier in the season. 13 points from the Falkland in his rookie world campaign. Yeah, but being pretty solid, obviously a sport race winner and a rider that's been a tremendous job on the bike this year as well. And obviously, right here on the back of the second scoring round, 10 points for Lugano, 9 at Donington Park. Second on both rounds, top 10 finishes after an excellent triple pole there. About 15 races, having been 7th place finish on Sunday, as I said. 6th row, the grid completed by Gary Montella and Victor Rabat. Anthony Nelson on the grid down with Tarantino, Tony Serra, Nico in 4th position, Alvaro in 7th. It's been a bit of a challenge so far, but how are they feeling over a long race?
Okay, to be honest, we have always take time, you know, we try to do our best, we try to win for sure. Yesterday Nicolo was not so comfortable with the bike, but for sure we have to do a lot, and also Alvaro Craveri second try, but for the rest
Oh, best of luck, thank you, Tony. Thank you. It's an absolute must to at least finish in second place behind Toprak Radjak. If Toprak goes away to win it, so Bullinger then with work to do from row number 6 down loads has take through 3 tracks. Let's get to on through row 2 then. Gary Montella in 17th. Has been a top 10 finisher in 5 of the 7 rounds so far. Ramona and Donington Park with 3 points on the board last time out in the UK round. First to finish after his contract renewal from Sparky Captain for 2026. Carrying a bit of an option in his elbow and finger following a practice in practice. Servat has also taken a fairly nominal reduced there so far, and he's 30 points in 21 in Amber, and then finished all the stripes on the Yamaha after they no points in his 30% for MI Honda and Donington Park. Michael van der Mark making his number as well, then he takes up at Donington Park last time out, going from row number 7 along with Chris Deltani and Sam McKenzie completes that 7th row in first in the Bullinger Championship advantage sat at 31 points, just 2 rounds to go. 6 races later, he lost the championship lead for the first time in 2025. The Ducati man, 1.5 points lost in circumstances outside of his control. 2 mechanical failures in Aston, a first corner collision with Axel Pisani in Misano. But Bullinger now has no further room for error, facing a top-ranked Radjak who has retreated to just 1 win in 9 races. Still only 4 points between them. Now up to Bullinger to respond in a straight fight over the remaining 6 races. Australian team engine for race 1 of the 2025 Hungarian round. It's first at brand new venue Balaton Park circuit, and here it is Bullinger who must win to get back to win one. And for Bullinger, second row in the grid. Double check for this first one, but with Martin in front of the crew team, and Peter that corner beside him on the grid. He'll be looking for him to make progress in turn 1. In there for some of the riders making their way off the grid. They'll use carrying round the first of this Balaton Park circuit. Getting underway, a good start from Toprak Ramkaptioglu. Not a good one at all for Sabo. Swallowed up by Andrea Locatelli in the run to the first turn. Rosen getting back to the inside to defend position, but Niccolo Bulliger gets around him. They'll be side by side now on the change of direction through turn 2. And a 3-rider pile up. Andrea Yunones involved, and then a 4-rider pile up behind as they all slow down to try and avoid that. That's a big multi-rider incident on lap number 1. Through the change of direction, turns 1 to 2, and a big 6 points on this opening lap.
There on the curve, and looking also had Fred Stars are in there as well, so lots of riders on the red flag.
Yeah, red flag now confirmed. I think carrying on Miller and Brian Vickers as well as Axel Sardi. Those some of the riders who started a little bit further back were caught up in that melee.
If you have a one-bike rule, you are in there by your bike is down there. In incidents like this, like last month, the rule out their second bike to make sure that they're able to take stars. So if you're someone like Daniel the Truth that was involved in that stars in the second row of the race, I think one of the large bikes able to get most of their bikes to get back. But if your bike can restart, you'll come straight back to pit and change to your other bike. So you should be able to take your start to your original race. It will mean that for the rest of the weekend, you have to do that bike. That's what you strategy during the race.
That's to say that Gary Montella have restored the initial Jackie Warner and None, and then the subsequent round confirmation and involvement of Fred Gardner, Brian Vickers, Gary Montella and Darren Girl. So as you can see, multiple riders involved. There's 7, in fact, 3 on that opening lap, 6 red flag. Part of the captain that most of their riders straight back up and as able to make their way back to the pits under the pits of their own pits, and they're making their way around now to turn 9. That's making the rest of the riders run. Well, there or thereabouts when that happened back out of it. Well, quite a dramatic start for the first race here at Balaton Park. As far as the second best, and then 7 riders get involved. Good news is a full reset. Everyone goes back to their original grid positions, and as long as everyone takes their places, then they so with confirmation. Standard practice here includes the laps of the riders so when we do start again, it will be a 20-lap race.
Yeah, just to keep going up from Andrea, and they've already brought their second bike out, so they'll be they managed to start with that.
So obviously the first bike is damaged, second one is bike is well, so there might be those roughly to at least have it repaired and at least have it ready. Gary Girl making his way through the final take now. Back towards the play. That's the Nero District quite high at the second row of the grid, so the leaders making their way through reasonably well, but right behind is waiting all the pits off a little further back.
Yeah, just look like group 1 saw that do a route of like the stars and so we can right back into that little bit back to the spot right behind you. Look at the group involved and still contact from behind you. That was direct all of the outside taking contact as well. So always checking that moment that good when it comes to the first time as well.
And the circuit where everyone can spend all the time so just trying to win the race on lap 1 with the riders would say, and actually got 20 laps ahead of them, but everyone jumps in for those 3 abreast through 3 consecutive left-handers. It's probably not going to work out anyway. So if you're on the outside, you want to get back to an inside line, but operations going on here on the track. We'll go back to the original starting grid and further stop this morning. The first million track straight cargo straight out front line. popping up behind them.
Try and come back to a route of bike. Keep an eye on the route towards turn 2. But left one of the outside, there's contact there that you know that it looks like. And then let go of the unlucky rider there.
Let Alex take it up here.
We'll get a better view of this here from and
Well, we get a glimpse from behind us on the path behind.
possibly, but it looked also like he was just on it, maybe a bit on there and he was just looking over that left one. See a little bit of contact with the Honda, just a bit of contact there with the Audi and that's the area. Maybe he put the ball together there. Unfortunately, it's not going to be
Yeah, it's really flat, but we know that 10 minutes to one, certainly doesn't go. Let's put it on board. It's going to be tribal.
on the right hand side and yeah, you can see that pretty collected from behind and got that select very unlucky on the outside and call out man.
Anthony, how are they getting on down in pit lane?
All the word on those Barney bikes are part of that incident. The Nina Petrucci had second bike, Antonis are working on that now, even though he did manage to get his first bike back into the garage. Yara Rotella still has his bike from the crash. Like you see the main damage that he's on his left front wing in that collision, but they are still using the bike. It seems that he had during that incident, and I am fortunate to win like that.
Break off very quickly once they sort of impact on the ground. That's a safety feature for us to take now. But hopefully for Cadillac for Garrett Gerloff for working hard and the motor mechanics in there as well. And that's what's everyone working to get back to the race. And hopefully for Garrett he's able to have where that bike is ready. He's still a little time before when the race started. Still 1 minute after pit lane open. There for Remy, I think that's not the bike crash at the start of the race.
Some guard there. Got to take a second for a check-up, so hopefully they can confirm that it's okay. And work is to get a bike ready for him when they take the charge. Obviously, it was a big impact. There was a lot of riders involved. Great to see the ones that we joined, three riders who joined every ride back. A couple of other bikes still being brought back from that incident. And so many riders involved. I think it's fair enough to have a pause here and everyone collect their thoughts before we go again.
Yeah, and obviously it'll be investigated by the stewards, but it's also very hard to report too much later on. And the riders are very front. They've got to stay to react to make decisions. You're in the middle of the pack, you don't have that option.
No, it's side by side behind the None, on the inside the Honda from behind, and then the side of the street, another three riders going down, and then further back, you've got no space to avoid anything. The whole track is occupied by the other side.
It looks like Alex Rose is involved in that. The team working on the bikes there as well. So we'll try and see exactly what the situation is then for those.
Coming from the row of grid, 12 for him. Certainly, they were passing it away fair. I think by the time that we got through the first checkpoint, riders up in the a little bit chaos early on. Rather unusual sight of seeing two number 9 bikes as well as UK, but we've explained the whys and the wherefores for that, and Marco Barnabo in the depths of it, managing this situation and now getting involved himself as well. He goes to work
On Thursday, there was a whole bike, wheel their spare bike at the main garage back in the area beside us. But every morning just to warm up both bikes, prepare them to get ready for the game. And then you end up with eventuality like this when you're ready to go for the morning bike. All the same there. So all the teams, those rules, are all trying to get themselves the best chance possible to be able to get decent results here. So constantly warming up these bikes. Still no time for when the game will open. So everyone has to be in a friendly but calm friend to try and make sure that all the jobs are done and that all the boxes are ready.
yeah, the most safety car parked on the edge of the outside. So the work still ongoing to the track. A lot of danger because much as we heard winds and so on, there's a lot of material and fibre on the track as well that the safety cars now moving away. That might be an indication of what's going on. This is the work continuing at the advantage in Patrick's garage. Meanwhile, Anthony, what else is going on up and down the pit lane?
I've just got word from Mimota team manager Kim Rowe that there's a clutch change for both riders, Allison and for Axel Romano.
Okay, fantastic.
You will see that has been back for the unfortunately with the nose and then further back from the side. But again, the team are managing to keep up best as possible. And they've also got a little bit of information that they wouldn't like off the line. That also plays a key role for everyone every time.
Imagine that one of the riders told them to try something extra about them instead of maybe making them take the boat. So both riders are benefiting from that. Jacob pit lane will open at 18 minutes past the hour. So there's a quick start there from the pit lane will be open for 1 minute and we'll pick it up and go again. See Anthony Nelson running down pit lane to get that all of the information with 6 minutes remaining. So keep up the hard work. It's hot work as well, isn't it?
For the rider, 43 swing track time. So that's always a big favor for everyone. And obviously the off the race we had earlier on, not the riders that everyone thinks of this season. So we'll have the first be there.
All hands on deck, runners in lane on the evidence of that. Working done here. Let's see into their pit box now. You know, at least it's a single bike engine. It gives them the chance to focus on the one bike and get themselves ready.
Yeah, and the last thing, you know,
How many times you said in your LSK that most people have to do with two bikes liking. But just enjoy being the thick of it, doesn't it?
for the crew team there, and we think of hoping that he's one of these riders that put in one side of the time to get number 19 got to do a real bike around and he gets that line again trying to get something to see the job still holding that tight line to the end back, but at this point onwards it all just comes together and I think for so many of the riders there and they've had to crash quite a few.
Yes, hopefully all the riders involved okay to take their places at the restart. Then Cambo running away and Locatelli moving up to challenge on the inside of Top Rack Road Gap. Side by side with the Aruba bikes as well. And then the change of direction here, and that's where it all bunches up. Everyone's going to the inside line, and 3, 4 abreast is not going to work for this here at Balaton Park.
No, it's like you said, Alex, everyone's heard all the things that they say around here that there's that first lap. That pressure builds is sort of one as well. Yeah, look, Alex, not to get collected from bikes and behind. But everyone pulls their hands up, wondering what happens. But turn 1 and then you're in the wrong place in turn 2 and there's a big change of action right here next corner
Very lucky actually to get the other runners all followed by bikes. But riders off the racetrack then, you know they're doing some ending off to the right there. The riders are heavily on the track and they're going to bikes behind them. Put their riders on the ring.
Yeah, exactly. When you look at it, it's how these things could have gone later on for a lot of riders there. So I think we'll get the chance for hopefully all of those riders to get their bikes up there and get back in there. Still in the fresh start as well. But you're right, like this through there, get these bikes there.
Another red on the top of the hill at the moment. Right, start. Cavill 23. And what can you tell us about Red Garden?
Well, I've just found it outside the garage. The bikes have been ready to take part in the race, but ready in the garage so far. So some of the time I've seen them and it seems like ready won't really be able to take part in the race.
That would be a real shame for Red Garden. 27 riders involved with a sort of the mathematics on the side of someone having taken some in that field. But fingers crossed that everything else will be okay for Red Garden. comfortable. Looks like Barney again close to there were Heather watching on and like prepared. Seems to be a lot calmer down there now than it was. Like, yeah, nothing super. It seems like all fighting are involved and it's been very stressful down there at the bottom. But Marcella, about that situation where like for Barney Chappie was their first season in that situation as well. So most of you've got personnel who are working with the whole team. You have also got those that are more focused on one rider and the other, and then there's a bit of pooling of the going on as well. So quite a complicated yeah, everyone has their crew of mechanics, and if one bike is fine and the other bike isn't, you'll all have it where the mechanics work on the side to get lost out there as well. And for Remy Gardner's crew, it's a big day for them. Unfortunately, I can't see guys, but that's a real shame for them because Remy has signed that contract for a long for what they get to do, but obviously for the season is all in the rest of the okay after that grand. Emotional shock of back to the garage for Remy Gardner. We're less than a minute away now from opening pit lane. Everyone breaks out in a 1-6 span to get underway. Just going to take it in the correct direction. What that a double long lap penalty for Andrea Janone. Irresponsible riding on Joseph Blackmore's crash. Now, I have to admit, this first glance, the first thing I said, wasn't it, was it looked like Janone had got out of shape. But then when you watch it back, you've got two riders right behind him on the inside of him as well. So he's very tight there on that. I don't think he's sure to make a decision on it. But he also wants to prepare for this. So much information. So looking to get more camera angles and got more information. But for Janone, it's a very hard penalty, but maybe you don't have the opportunity to go and use it yourself as well. And that's all the part of the penalty. But Janone had his run in with the Stewards already this year. He's quite vocal about the merger. And the other thing, lap one, second turn, I must admit, my first reaction to say, you have a lot more information, they have a lot more time to do as well, but my first reaction is, I feel that's a little bit off. Lap number one, race one in a round. And that's what I mean, if they made the decision after the race to then be like, tomorrow, you then have a little more information to hand at that moment from what they know they can tell you. But obviously, as well, one of those situations where we don't have that information, they have it. If they do the same thing, they can have double long lap penalty. And what happens here for most riders making their way out on the cycling lap, but unfortunately not the full complement penalty. Apart from Remy Gardner, who's like into the corner, won't take part in this race either. The bike is back to the box and the rider isn't. And just a couple of garages away, there was a big round of applause from the Kawasaki team once they managed to get Garrett Gurl back onto the track. Huge effort from the team. It's a little bit of cross-garage support as well. Obviously, it is very much promoted by Kawasaki, so there was a little bit of Kawasaki by promoter to get Garrett Gurl on that way. Yeah, the bikes are actually still prepared by more like a Trinity, and he hasn't been able to leave the pits there. And whether that was because of a technical issue or because the red light was on, remains to be seen. But for Trinity, it's back to him and for Ryan Vickers, looks like he's not going to be able to take part in it with all the hard work of the team. And they're not going to be able to do it. And I think it's great that we have for an Ivo, like quite a lot. Very difficult to get it right understand the style, having qualified well up to 5. Right, let's see here it is out there, so we're back to the other 5 there. It's always tricky at this stage, especially when you transponders are coming up active on our time stream as well, but obviously we're able to see that yeah, what it does is the transponders only take on their original right, on their spare, their line up to 9. No in the left of that field to line up for P11. So certainly two riders down, and we'll see Danilo Petrucci as well from P5 on the grid. And second place, yes, the pit lane, hopefully we'll have the opportunity now to start from the back of the grid. So the line up now. Oh, what a dramatic start and what a dramatic restart we've had. Hungary, not quite what we were expecting to get underway.
It is a little bit like what we were expecting. You know, with the trouble on the run down towards that point. You see there Petrucci looks like he's ready to lead from the lane to start from the back of the grid. And Gilliland is working out. Gilliland's waiting on board him, but now will have to qualify for the second from the grid. But we'll at least get to see how much space possibilities there are already.
Yes, Petrucci obviously left corner in this as well, so they were red and heavy stuff. That is what we heard from Anthony, that left corner wasn't ready. And we saw Ryan Vickers actually in the pit box with the bike still being worked on and he wasn't ready to go at the time.
Yeah, Ryan was still taking gloves off and he can pack the back into the bike with the right. That have all the good information and data for tomorrow's Grand Prix. But for the riders now, it's the case of you get yourself ready for the race. And you know, with a double long lap now, I think it's number 29. The front runner is all fair, so he opens up the corner. Samuel made a poor initial getaway into turn 1 on the initial start, but then was able to recover well. That being only taken a long lap penalty, and I see what the conditions of it are like. We don't know how much time it will use. It's around 3 seconds.
Around the outside of turn 11 here, the long lap penalty is the southern loop, as it were, of this Balaton Park circuit. Unfortunately, that one won't count. He's going to have to do two in racing conditions once we've got underway. But it's going to be particularly costly for track position, of course.
Yeah, it is, because every time that you take that, you're going to lose positions. For Iannone, you have 5 laps to take those 2 long laps, so he'll presumably try and stretch it out as long as he can at the start and open up a big gap for the riders behind him from P14 downwards, P15 downwards. But he's going to have a tough time.
And so is Danilo Petrucci coming through from the back of the grid. The only consolation for him is that he's got good pace. That does clear the way somewhat for Nicolo Bulliger, doesn't it? A very empty-looking second row this is going to be. As Nicolo Bulliger has no Danilo Petrucci alongside of him starting from the back, and no Ita Lecuona alongside of him. He's retired, having gone to the medical centre. No Remy Gardner further back. Andrea Iannone with a double long lap penalty and confirmation that Ryan Vickers has retired.
Baptiste on the third row of the grid, the number 19 Ducati, made a really good start initially. Let's see if he does the same again.
Opportunity for Bautista here to challenge for the podium places right from the start. Hasn't had too many of those opportunities, generally qualifying further back down the order. 20 laps now for a restart. Race 1 of this 2025 Hungarian round. Another slow start from Sam Lowe. Bautista with another good one, going straight to the outside again on Nicolo Bulliger. Bulliger pinched in the middle of Sam Lowe and Alvaro Bautista. They're a little bit more tentative, all of them this time around. Not Jonathan Ray though. He's surging through the field and splitting the two Aruba Ducatis here on the opening lap. So that's Jonathan Ray up from to 5th position now. Behind him, Xavi Vierque making his way through to 7th, ahead of Alex Lowe. Andrea Iannone 9th early on, and obviously a reduced field of riders with Tito Rabat stranded out at the back. Toprak Razgatlioglu then breaking away. Locatelli in 2nd position, smoking as he brakes heavily for turn 5. Sam Lowe's right behind him, and Alvaro Bautista jumping his teammate. Jonathan Ray also getting through, so Bulliger down to 6th place. Far from ideal for the championship contender.
Yeah, really good for Johnny as well to be able to make that start from 10th on the grid, so 8th effectively, to be able to get himself up into the top 5 and ahead of Bulliger. This moment gets to really see how difficult it is to overtake, because Bulliger obviously has more pace than Ray over the course of the weekend so far, but he's going to be able to make the move easily.
First long lap penalty being served here by Andrea Iannone, darting to the outside line through turn 11. So that's going to cost him a lot in terms of track position. I'm a little bit surprised that he served the first part of it as quickly as that. It's going to leave him a lot of riders to task, whereas if he'd left it a couple of laps, he could have tried to rejoin in front of some of those lower order riders.
Yeah, as we saw in the shot there as well, Petrucci's up in about 13th position as well now, so good start from Petrucci from the back of the grid.
Yes, the back of the grid not quite as severe when you're a couple of riders down, but still a fair old penalty. So Petrucci angling well on lap number 1. Into lap 2 then, Razgat Lioglu breaking 4/10 of a second away. Now we'll find out what passing's like at this Balaton Park circuit, because Sam Lowe, under braking into turn 1, wants to get down the inside of Andrea Locatelli. Nicolo Bulliger wants to make the pass on Jonathan Ray, and he does so. So Bulliger recovers 1 position. He's now back up into 5th. The next target is teammate Alvaro Bautista for P4.
Yeah, but look, Morrison's already given up top rack at this stage, 2 seconds behind the race leader, and he needs to try and just have that recovery zone to make his progress. This is the move from Bulliger down in towards turn 1, and able to make it nice and clean, holds that tight line, and once you're able to hold that line, you're able to make the move and take it close to the corner there. Ray does a good job trying to defend it, but Bulliger just has that little bit more than him.
Fast first sector from Nicolo Bulliger with a little bit of clear air in front of him to Alvaro Bautista. He's got a gap of 4/10 of a second to swallow up. It looks a lot less than that now. Up ahead for Sam Lowe's important phase of the race. He could do with clearing Locatelli just to avoid top rank Razgat Lioglu getting beyond his reach.
Yeah, and you can see at this stage, Alex Lowe trying to make his move on Jonathan Ray. Good start from Lowe as well, from 12 on the grid. He able to run up inside the top 7 now.
Yeah, Lowe ran that tighter line through turn 11 on lap 1 as well, just waiting to see if an opportunity presents itself in the battle against his former teammate Jonathan Ray for 6th position. I can tell you that Andrea Iannone has completed the second pass of his double long lap penalty. He'll come out at the back of the field, but now the OUA is up as far as the Go 11 bike.
Have a look here to change direction through the chicane for Locatelli and Bautista and Bulliger compared to Lowe. Lowe looks a lot smoother and slower as he tries to get himself across bike. Looks comfortable out there.
668 metre start finish straight here at the Balaton Park circuit, and it's not enough for Sam Lowe to get alongside Andrea Locatelli. It is enough for Alex Lowe to attack Jonathan Ray. Can he get the Mimosa stop? The answer to that is no. Ray is back through, but Lowe will now have the inside line. Ray just closes the door. Good to see the typical combat from Jonathan Ray. He is losing a lot of time to the riders in front of him and looks vulnerable to attack from behind.
Yeah, and obviously the 2 Aruba bikes are faster, and for Ray, he's trying to just hold on to as many points and positions as he can at this stage of the race.
Second attempt then for Alex Lowe will be into turn 5 here on lap number 3, but again Jonathan Ray closes that door. So Razgat Lioglu leads 1 minute 40 flat last time around, half a second gained again over Andrea Locatelli. Then it's Sam Lowe right on the tail of Locatelli as they flash their way through the 2nd and 3rd places, and it's to a lot closer now for 4th position as well. Nicolo Bulliger just a couple of tenths of a second behind Alvaro Bautista. Jonathan Ray over a second back from those Aruba bikes. So if Alex Lowe wants to get up and after them, he needs to clear Ray quickly now.
Lowe's on the number 14 bike is able to stop the bike so much easier into those chicanes, and that's going to give him the opportunity at some point on Locatelli. You'd imagine it's 15. If he's nice and smooth through this change of direction, the bike up on the exit, he will give himself that chance.
Sam Lowe needs to get through quickly now on Andrea Locatelli. New personal best first and second sectors from Alvaro Bautista. 2/10 faster than Sam in sector 1 and 10th faster in sector 2. So if Sam Lowe doesn't quickly clear Andrea Locatelli, then Alvaro Bautista could be through on him. Nicolo Bulliger scrapping with Bautista as well. The 2 of them went side by side through the last shot, and Bulliger is in front of Alvaro Bautista now. That is fourth position, and what an important 4th place it is as well for Nicolo Bulliger. Looks as though they've cost themselves a little bit of time to Locatelli, and Sam Lowe's ahead. Sam Lowe still not able to get through on Locatelli as Bulliger runs wide into turn 1 at the start of lap number 4.
Move into 15 for Bulliger, and he's able to come through. Runs in a little bit hot. That's the risk you have in making the moves into these chicanes. That's what for Lowe's it's through 7 and 8 that sets the move up into turn 9. That's where he's able to stop the bike well on the angle.
Opportunity into turn 5 on lap number 4. A couple of times Sam Lowe has been close, but not quite close enough. Ultimately, he's going to have to force the issue on this one to get through on Locatelli. Otherwise, Bulliger's going to be right on his tail.
Super concession chassis from Yamaha brought in this year helps them on the exit of those corners, like turn 4 down into 5, and it gives them that exit that they're able to just punch out of the corners well with grip.
Quick word on the battle further back down the order as well. Danilo Petrucci now up into 8th place. You can see him just in the background of your shot there. He's ahead of Xavi Sierke, now directly behind Jonathan Ray. And Ray is doing pretty well to stick on with Alex Lowe. Half a second the gap there, but Petrucci should be moving through on the next couple of riders in front of him in fairly swift order.
Yeah, good job by Danilo up inside the top 10 to the back of the grid.
And faster than anyone other than top rank Razgat Lioglu last lap around Petrucci as well. So yes, there was some fighting between Bulliger and Bautista, but Petrucci has good pace at this stage of the race. And well, he's second behind the podium position as things stand, with a few riders between himself himself and those rostrum spots as well. But Patrici going great guns as we watch Andrea Locatelli with Sam Lowe still just a tenth of a second behind him. Toprak Razgatlioglu is gone now. This is a race for second, but it's a race that involves 4 or 5 riders here for possible spots on the podium. Sam Lowe's at the start of lap 5, again close to Andrea Locatelli, but Locatelli's good enough on the brakes to hold on.
Yeah, Locke is riding really well just to keep Sam at bay here, and obviously for Locatelli, that's tenth of a second slower than Toprak and slower than the riders behind him, but he's got that all-important track position.
Sam being a little bit too gentlemanly his way through on Locatelli, because if he doesn't, Bulliger's going to be through. He's 3/10 of a second a lap faster at the moment than Sam Lowe's directly ahead of him. They come down this short straight towards turn number 5. Well, Locatelli wants to see if there's an open door for him to force his way back through here. If he doesn't, Bulliger's going to be through on him. Bautista beginning to drop away. He will hope that these three start to scrap it out. The second half of the race, we saw it again in race 2 at Donington Park. Bautista is at his strong.
Yeah, and obviously today a little bit different. Everyone with the harder tyre. We shouldn't have much of a tyre drop out there. And interestingly, most of these riders in the league group all using the same combination front and rear. Toprak's actually got slightly different rear tyres, standard rear tyres compared to all these riders with the newer tyre preferred.
Let's go with what you know, and Razgatlioglu is riding much as he did at Donington Park last time out, easing away while Bulliger's got a scrap for second place. And damage limitation, I said at the top of the programme, Nicolo Bulliger the closest he's been to getting into those podium places in race 1 here at the Balaton Park circuit. Locatelli closes the door into turn 1, but you fancy by the end of this lap Bulliger should be through into third.
Yeah, we'll see what happens for Bulliger if he's able to try and attack in towards turn 5 as well. That's where we saw those come through in Locatelli last time around. But this is where the Yamaha is actually quite strong. It's able to carry that roll speed and exit these kind of corners quite well. But Bulliger's close to him, should be able to set the move up.
We know how good the Ducati is under acceleration. Sam Lowe's made his pass on Andrea Locatelli for second here a lap ago. Nicolo Bulliger follows him through on lap number 6. So it's now Razgatlioglu leading ahead of Sam Lowe's in second, Nicolo Bulliger third, and Andrea Locatelli down to 4th.
Yeah, and Bulliger now into P2, into P3, and with that chance to hunt down Lowe's, and considering the pride of his racing top of Bulliger, couldn't get the bike stopped. Finished in 8th at the combined times yesterday, 6th this morning, 4th on the grid, and they're running up in the podium spot. So good job by Bulliger to be able to give himself these opportunities. We can see how it's not easy to make the move into turn 5 there. Locatelli was braking right on the limit. You see he had a bit of a snap whenever he got on the brakes, just trying to get that bike stopped. But for Bulliger, he's done what he has to do.
He's in a little bit deep there. That's a shame for Alvaro, because last lap around set a new personal best lap. There was 4/10 of a second faster than Andrea Locatelli, and you feel that Bautista could get Locatelli at very least. If he's thinking about a podium, he needs to be consistent and avoid those kinds of errors.
Just at the front of the field as well, Toprak in this lap has lost a quarter of a second to Sam Lowe. We'll see what it is come across line. 40.5 for Toprak, 40.2 for Lowe's personal best, 40.1 for Bulliger, his personal best as well. So they pull back a quarter of a second there, just with the clear track from Locatelli.
They've got 2.8 still to find for Toprak Razgatlioglu, the race leader, and Toprak can afford to manage his pace. Oh, Sam Lowe has come to green from second position on lap 7 of race 1 here at Balaton Park, after just setting a new personal best lap, faster than even race leader Toprak Razgatlioglu. Sam Lowe is out in race 1 of the Hungarian race.
Yeah, and you see the frustration there for Sam from that one, and for Bulliger now released in P2, the gap is 3.3 seconds to Toprak Razgatlioglu out in front, and opening up a margin now over Locatelli.
So Bulliger has no further riders to surmount in order to see Toprak Razgatlioglu in front of him. 3.5 seconds is his gap, and 4/10 pulled back last lap around, but Toprak answering straight back. New fastest first sector, new fastest second sector. Toprak's making it clear that Bulliger needs to give it up on this one.
Yeah, and you can see for Toprak after the last lap, just giving himself that opportunity in the first 2 sectors, and of course for fastest lap of the race. He's on board with Bulliger coming in towards turn 2. Let's have a look and see what we can see from Sam. It almost looks like a wet weather crash there. Just completely goes away. But that's a real shame for Lowe's and the Mark BDS team. Their target for making that progress is to have the feature length race podiums as well that they've been able to have in the Super Bowl race.
There was one available here, wasn't there? Even if Niccolo Bulliger had got through, Sam Lowe's had passed Andrea Locatelli, withdrew up into the podium position. There's the response from top rack Razgat Kioglu. New fastest lap of the race on lap number 7, a 1 minute 39.732, half a second faster than Niccolo Bulliger. Your race is now for third position.
Yeah, and certainly for top rack, he's just asserted himself now with that. But good scrap going on here as well with Javi Vieira in 7th position ahead of Ray. Garrett Gerloff did a good job recovering from that crash, and for the Chetty squad, they'll be cheering him on now after getting the round of applause for their work to get the bike repaired, and Yari Montella behind him as well. So two repaired bikes out there trying to fight it out to get into the top 8.
Chapigiake, 7th position for him, hasn't had a result as good as 7th since way back at the Italian round in Cremona at the start of May. Scored only 7 points at the UK round last time out and didn't manage a single top 10 finish at Donington Park. So much better here. Obviously a race of attrition, but Bieke has had to make his way through on Jonathan Ray, no less, to get up into 7th position. Ray sticking with him and trying to answer back, but the danger will come from behind. Garrett Gerloff always seems to wind into races. Looking good for yet another top 10 finish for him here. Jonathan Ray attacks down the inside of Xavi Bieke, wide entry to turn 11, and Jonathan Ray says, well, if you're going to leave the door that wide open, and makes his way back through now into 7th place.
Yeah, good move by Ray. We saw him combative at the start of the race, and doing a solid job now on the second Yamaha. His teammate Locatelli up there in the podium spot, but Ray doing a decent job now to get himself a chance for the top 7 finish. He's got about 4 seconds to make up the ride in front of him, so this is as far as the scriptures go.
Locatelli is still in the podium position, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Alvaro Bautista with a new personal best second sector, pulled back a quarter of a second in that sector alone. The gap now is down to 0.3 of a second, and Bautista was 0.4 faster than Locatelli on that lap number 8. So by the end of this lap, Bautista should be within range to strike on Andrea Locatelli for third position. This is Yari Montella making his way through on Garrett Gerloff for 9th. And the 4 riders scrap 4P7, but we're going to have a duel, Locatelli versus Bautista for third place by the end of lap 9.
Yeah, and for Bautista, as usual, in the longer races, whenever it's not about having that ultimate speed like in a Super Bowl session, he's still able to show just how good of a job he can do. And this is a big weekend for him because it's an opportunity to be able to get good results in all 3 races.
10th of a second between Locatelli and Bautista then on at lap number 9. Behind them, Alex Lowe just 6/10 of a second back, doing well with a solid top 5 finish. Petrucci, having come from so far down the order, doing really well in at 6th position, having started from the back of the grid. Here goes the first attempt from Alvaro Bautista. He's through on Locatelli, straight across his path to the outside even as he makes his way through, but somehow manages to get it back across, and that's a classic block pass from Alvaro Bautista, one that sees him into the podium position on lap 9.
Yeah, good job by Alvaro, and you can see Alex Lowe's behind on the Bermuda as well. He'll certainly think that there's a chance to attack Locatelli now, and Petrucci, he'll know that he can still finish on the podium from the back of the grid.
Well, the great thing for Alex Lowe is that that cost Andrea Locatelli about 0.6 of a second all in one go over the course of sectors 2 and 3. So Alex Lowe's right there now with Andrea Locatelli, 0.3 of a second down on him, another 0.3 of a second the gap to Bautista, which is saying all race that Petrucci's got the speed to match the likes of Bautista. Now he's only just over a second behind him.
Yeah, Daniel's done a really good job, made a good start, was up inside top 15 straight away, and then into the top 10, and just steadily making his progress now into the top 6.
Next couple of laps are going to be interesting for Bautista. He can see Niccolo Bulliger up ahead. The gap is 2 seconds to his teammate. And yes, the tyre wear is not the same as it was at Donington Park last time out, but that's the target for Bautista. He's trying to narrow those gaps to his teammate. New personal best last time around from Bautista when he said, when he made a pass as well. So let's see what the lap pace is like on lap number 10. This is the action further back. 3 riders trapped here for 7th. Yari Montella riding up the back of Jonathan Ray, and that's what's allowed Garrett Gerloff to come through into 9th. And I can tell you that since then, Gerloff has made his way through on Jonathan Ray as well, and Gerloff is now up into 8th place.
Yeah, you can see how everyone can trip over each other in these chicanes, and again, it's one of those situations, 3 bikes together, and suddenly you can find it where everyone ends up fighting for that same fastball.
That Jonathan Ray being very clever there, making his move to the outside, expecting Bieke to hold back the man on the inside and tries to get the runner around the outside. It works out very nicely for him as Montella and Gerloff renew their rivalry now for 9th position. So Ray got back in front of them from V8. Great action between these 4 riders in the race for 7th.
Yeah, Ray's still got a fair bit of racecraft about him, and obviously all the rumours at the moment that he might well be Yari Montella's teammate next year. But he knows that this is a chance to be able to fight
outside from Jonathan Ray, knowing he'd have the inside for the next corner, and Jonathan Ray will not give in on this 7th position. It's quite clear that to some extent he seems to be outmatched. Vierke, Montella, Gerloff have been swarming all over the back of him, but Ray ended up in 9th. He's now back up to 7th, and Jari Montella will try to follow him through on Xavi Vierke at the start of lap 11, just forces his way down the inside, and he ended up 668 metres straight back into turn 1 to start lap 11.
Yeah, just up on track as well. Petrucci close to Alex Lowe, might well be able to attack into turn 5.
I said watch out for Bautista on lap 10, new personal best from him, 1 minute 39.81 for some of the best pace we've seen from Bautista all weekend long. The gap's now down to 2 seconds, a long way to go to close down that gap, but if he continued at the same rate, he'd be close by the end of the race.
He'll always be able to maintain that speed. Tyre life not an issue with the harder SC0 tyre here this weekend, so Bautista will certainly think he can dig in, try and keep moving on.
Big Bautista another 2 seconds back, his personal best as well for Andrea Locatelli. You see there in front of Alex Lowe and Danilo Petrucci, but Locatelli cannot seem to match the pace of Bautista, so another half a second loss last time around, another half a second loss on lap 11 so far. The gap to Bautista 1.6 seconds behind Locatelli. Alex Lowe coming under increasing pressure from Danilo Petrucci, but still keeping him at arm's length, a couple of tenths of a second between.
Yeah, I thought Petrucci might have been a little bit closer to him on this lap, but Lowe's doing a good job to be able to hold him off and running inside the top 5, and that again just shows Oda hasn't had the speed to be there at any stage. Drag something out when it matters.
On we go to lap number 12. Lowe 7 tenths of a second to Locatelli, so he's pulled a little back there. Danilo Petrucci dropping a tenth in the final sector. New personal best final sector for Alex Lowe. That's why he was able to close that margin on Locatelli. In this race for 7th, meanwhile, Jari Montella's got to the front of the group, and he's actually started to pull away a little from Jonathan Ray, 4 tenths of a second. And that will be good news as far as Montella is concerned, because I think that Vierke will continue to attack Ray. Gerloff likewise. And just hovering in the background of the shot there, Michael van der Mark. But 3 riders ahead of him last lap around, which is better than we've seen from Michael van der Mark.
Yeah, you can see there from Jonathan Ray, ran out a little bit wide on the exit of turn 4, and it sacrificed a little bit of speed maybe down in towards 5, but he's still able to keep Xavi Vierge behind him. And good effort from Ray here, still just keeping everyone honest, but Jari Montella with the Ducati is able to start edging his way away on that Barney bike.
And much as Andrea Iannone further back was unfortunate with a double long lap penalty, he hasn't had the pace in this race. A quick word on him, 3 seconds down on Dominic Engster in the last point playing places, and slower than the riders around him. So Iannone certainly not at his best in race 1 after that big spill, it must be said, on lap 1 in the initial stage.
Yeah, the 14th fastest lap of the race, and he's been much better position than that on the practice session. So bit of a shame there for Iannone, but could well be where the bike not quite working well after the repair.
Fastest first sector of anyone from Alvaro Bautista on lap number 12, gap down to 1.8 seconds. Bulliger answering back nicely in sector 2, but nonetheless Alvaro Bautista small edge at this stage of the race on Nicolo Bulliger in front of him. I don't think it's enough to get there, but it's great news for Alvaro Bautista. The best kind of pace we've seen from him all season.
Well, so often we see where Bautista doesn't have the pace in race 1 because he happens to come from the 3rd or 4th row of the grid. Today he's been able to make good starts in both stages of the race. He was able to make good jumps off the line, give himself a chance to be able to fight right from the start. He's up there in the podium spot now, and that's going to give him a lot of confidence for the Super Bowl race tomorrow as well, that he can make a good start and fight for the podium.
Jari Montella with a new personal best lap last time around, and Jonathan Ray has obviously used him as a yardstick to follow, because he started to break away from Xavi Vierge with 2 new personal best sectors last time around for Ray. Vierge and Gerloff rounding out your top 10. This is the continued scrap for 5th position between Alex Lowe and Danilo Petrucci. Obviously this is important for Petrucci in the context of his battle for bronze, and he said right from the start of the season that the target was to get a medal this season, to get up onto the World Championship podium. Bautista's 3rd in this race. Every point Petrucci can get now is important in defending his advantage. It sits at 15 points over Bautista. If things were to stay as they are at present, it would be reduced to 9.
Yeah, it's just about trying to give yourself the opportunity to score as many points as you can and to come away with those top 5 finishes. And Petrucci, it also comes down to, is it better off to be a little bit patient now to see what happens with Locatelli, or do you try and attack straight away?
I'm going through Sam Lowe's mind right now, because the crash in race 2 at Donington Park is obviously trying to go his contract. Crash in race 1, again 2nd position track. Razgasti on route, unfortunately, out in fairly drastic fashion, and he was frustrated with that one.
Yeah, you can see the frustration there for him, and in the pit box, it's all too clear as well. And that's all he'll be thinking right now, is that that's a missed opportunity. And again, it looks like a strange crash. When you typically see the bike fall like that, it reminds you of those wet weather crashes, but it's also one of those situations where Sam's the rider that had that issue. But you're trying to push on, and it does show as well the difference between running in the top 5, running in the podium, running in the top 2, and you're having to just find something that you didn't have before, and you're always trying to push harder and harder. It will click into place for those, could well click into place tomorrow for him, but he'll view this as a missed opportunity, unfortunately.
Lap 14, Niccolo Bullock has got Alvaro Bautista now under control. First lap in a while that Bullock has got into 1 minute 39, so 1:39.854 is actually faster than Toprak by 6/10 last time around. So Bullock has re-established his gap at 2 seconds over Bautista, and he's made another 2/10 on this lap so far. So just keeping his teammates at arm's length, but credit to Bautista nonetheless for matching the pace of championship contender Niccolo Bullock. Fourth place Andrea Locatelli now has a seconds gap again to Alex Lowe's behind him for fifth, but Petrucci can find no way to get alongside the promoter of Alex Lowe.
Yeah, Alex rides really well here, and the gap between Locatelli and Lowe's is oscillate a little bit between 7/10 and 1 second, and Locatelli on this lap has got his head down. This is where for Petrucci it comes down to, are you able to make the move now, because otherwise you might lose touch with Locatelli, but it's difficult to come through in a rider that's riding pretty quickly, and Alex last time round in the mid 1 minute 40s. We'll see what his lap time is when he comes across the line in just a moment. Again, pretty much matching the pace that he's been doing for the last few laps. So for Petrucci, you don't have that big pace advantage in any one area to be able to make an easy move.
Again, quick look back to the race with 7th behind. Here they are. Jari Montella into turn 1, 4/10 ahead of Jonathan Ray. Yerke just behind Garrett Gerloff. Oh, down goes Jonathan Ray from 8th position on lap 15, and that's a real shame because Jonathan Ray was having an entertaining scrap with the likes of Chance Yerke and Garrett Gerloff. He's gone down into turn 1.
Yeah, we've seen that crash in turn 1 a few times this weekend across the classes, but for Ray, just trying to push on, give himself a chance at that top 7 finish, and keep the air here behind him, but just difficult as well whenever you're trying to find that limit, you're trying to push that limit, and get caught out. But for Johnny, at least this is going to give him a lot of encouragement to being able to get himself into a scrap.
Yes, we'll see it again here.
Just exactly what we've seen so many times this weekend, different riders, super sport and super bike. The front just goes away from you, and it's one of those places where with the new track surfaces, you can end up with basically just close to that same point, and yeah, Ray just gets caught out by it, but doesn't make a big mistake with the 6 penalty.
Yeah, Jonathan Ray is now sit down in 8th position out of 19 riders. Here's from on board.
A little bit caught the entry maybe for Ray there, but not by much. And then he's able to get the bike stopped, but just runs out of grip. There, and you'd have to say that's not a big mistake that's been made, but it's a big penalty.
Yeah, a bit like the Strat Lowe as well there, where you don't see a huge amount wrong from the outboard shots, but then unfortunately it ends with a non-score. Danilo Petrucci alongside Alex Lowe in for 5th position. Petrucci's got himself in hot trying to make that pass. Lowe will gather it back up on the exit.
Yeah, and that's the thing with turn 1 into turn 2. It always looks like if you're in hot into one, it might lead you to the inside line for 2, but we haven't seen anyone actually able to make that move stick. You just lose too much momentum. So Alex did well to keep a cool head there and give himself a chance to get the cutback.
Yes, the key is to get alongside the rider and then just stop in their path or run them out wide to the exit. Of whichever bend it is, just to make sure they've got no way to answer back.
Yeah, the key is to be able to...
Oh, Alex Lowe must have got himself in a little bit hot there. Danilo Petrucci comes scything through. That's a shame after Lowe defended himself so well initially for 5th position, but Petrucci is now clear in P5.
Good job by Petrucci from the back of the grid to get himself up into the top 5. I was just going to say, in turn 1, the key thing is, can you hold that tight line to the inside curve? If you can do that, you'll make the move. If you don't really give yourself a chance to go back at it.
Ultimately, from having 2 bikes in the pit box being repaired, Barney Ducati are looking good with Petrucci in P5 and Jari Montella in P7, and Montella, Jonathan Ray again. second spill in 2 laps of the race. Wonder whether he had damage from the initial spill, but very rare for Jonathan Ray to come to grief like that for a second time, and this time he is down and out of race 1 in Balaton.
Yeah, you can see there the disappointment for Ray now at this stage after that one. Let's see what happens in it, because this happens quite early in the corner as well. There, turn 3 and 4 is the long left-hander where you're on the edge of the tyre all the way around, and just come around on Johnny. And at least it's not too bad of a crash for Ray there. The bit of damage done to the bike, but you're always worried whenever you see riders stopping away from a corner like that. But at least for Ray, it's not too bad for him, and there's enough things to take encouragement from this race.
Yes, we return our focus then to the action. Lap 17 of 20. This is Michael van der Mark in 10th position now after the retirement of Jonathan Ray. Axel Bassani is right behind him, 6/10 of a second. The gap. Hans McKenzie up in 12. Credit him on his debut on the Bonobo Ducati. 3/10 up ahead of Dominic Egerton. He's beating Foglu, he's beating Janone. And then outside of the points, we've got Rinaldi, Rabat, and Zaidi. It's going to be a day for riders to score points. It would be in a race of attrition like this one, but quite enough retirement for that as yet. Hans McKenzie here, as I said, riding well in P12. Bit of acclimatisation to be done for him with new machinery this weekend after a round down following the end of his spell on the MI.
Yeah, it's a new team as well, and the bike is so different to Ducati compared to what he had been on. So you're trying to build yourself up and then find something. I think by the time we get to Magny-Cours and the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I think Aragon, and certainly when we get to Jerez, you'll view that as his chance to being able to get a good result.
Watching Dominic Egerton stalking Taz McKenzie here for 12th position. Obviously, we lost Remy Gardner in the initial staging of this race one, so the only points for GRT and Yamaha. That's Bahatis and Foglu behind them in 14th, and then Andrea Janone in 15th, but they're nose to tail for 12. Egerton will attack once again, and at this stage of the race, it's Egerton who's got the superior pace, and through he sweeps on lap 18 for 12th position.
Yeah, good move by Tommy, and able to come through there, and it's good to be able to see that there is actually quite a few places where riders have been able to make moves during the course of this race, and obviously you need to try and force the issue in a few places, but at least you're able to.
Yeah, Mackenzie's pace dropped off quite a lot on that last lap though. 2 seconds slower than he had been the one before, and again, he was struggling to get the bike turned there with Bahatis and Foglu riding all over the back of him. So Mackenzie dropping off his pace. He's got 3 laps to go to try and dig in and get some points out of this one. We've got Andrea Janone directly behind Bahatis and Foglu, who was the next to have a go at Taz Mackenzie using the Bonobo labelled bike with the number 95 number, replacing Scott Redding from the weekend. See how quickly Dominic Egerton is starting to skate away. This is Toprak Razgatlioglu, meanwhile. He sits in P1. Remember him? He has led the way comfortably from start to finish here, and it's more of the same as what we saw at Donington Park last night.
Yeah, you can see for Toprak, he's still pushing on as he has big head shake on the brake down in towards turn 15, and Razgatlioglu, this is the way that he likes to be. He doesn't like to take it easy through the course of the race. He still wants to push on and learn something for race 2 as well in terms of what the tyre life is going to do. But Toprak just in such good form, hat-tricked the last 2 rounds, and really for the last 4 rounds he's just been so difficult to beat. But that's where it's critical for Bulga to come away with this second place finish now as well. He's got 2 seconds in hand over Bautista like he's had for much of the race, and able to give himself a chance to go 20 points.
Bautista going to be happy with this. You're not beating your teammate, but you're 2 seconds away from him, and you've matched his pace for much of the race distance. And there was a stage where Bulliger was pushing as well there. It's not like he was riding easily.
Toprak just trying to do his best, and Christopher View doesn't crash, it looks like there. But for Razgatlioglu, just continuing to push on. I think Bautista should be happy with this, because it's his closest season to Bulliger in an open race the weekend through the course of the season. So he's given himself a chance to go into the weekend and try and fight for something in the Super Bowl race, and then see what happens in the longer race. He's able to qualify in the front row of the grid for race 2. He gives himself a real chance.
As opposed to Ingrid Danilo contributing the closest fight in the top 10. Because Axel Bassani has got clear of Michael van der Mark for 10th position, and van der Mark was keeping the gap about a second to the group of 4, then 3, of course, after Jonathan Ray crashing in front of him. Van der Mark must have made a mistake in at the end of the second sector, because he dropped 4 tenths in sector 2, 4 tenths in sector 3, and now that he's got a bit of clear air in front of him. Cap come down from 2.4 to 1.8 this lap, so still a chance for Exeter to snatch 11th place from Michael Black.
Yeah, tyre life really isn't an issue for most of the riders. Top Rack comes across the line 5 tenths a second off his fastest lap. Bulga's around about 3 tenths of a second off his fastest lap, and for Alvaro about 4 or 5 tenths as well. So we don't have that usual drop off that we have. That's where for the likes of Tommy Aguilar, it can sometimes be frustrating for a team when they see a rider put a fast lap in right at the end of the race. But that's kind of similar to what everyone else is doing. He's got clear track in front of him for the first time. That's why he's had a bit last time. And just trying to claw back that time to Michael van der Mark. He's a second and a half, but he's a second a lap faster.
Yeah, not quite enough, is it, at a second a lap faster, but fairly close by the end. Meanwhile, Taz McKenzie continues to lose a lot of time. He's taking a lap further. The riders around him. Been passed by Andrea Iannone, who's now off into 13th. McKenzie down to 14th. We've got perhaps into Foglu only 4 tenths behind him. Chance of a change of position from 14th there. McKenzie should be able to hold on though for a point because Rinaldi 2.5 seconds back to about another second further in 17th. So, Top Rack Razgatlioglu well on his way towards victory. Niccolo Bulliger in second. Top Rack will open that championship lead by another 5 points up to 9. Bulliger's done his bit with a damage limitation ride aided by the fall from Sam Lowe that got him up into that P2. He's had good pace since then to defend against teammate Alvaro Bautista, but there's been no matching Top Rack Razgatlioglu. He makes his way through the final sector, and your inaugural winner here at the Balaton Park circuit will be Top Rack Razgatlioglu. It's the 15th different circuit at which he's been victorious in World SBK. Second over the line, Niccolo Bulliger drops 9 points back now in the championship standings with 2 races still remaining at this Hungarian round. Alvaro Bautista with 3rd position and a well-earned one at that. Made his pass on Andrea Locatelli in the early stages. Locker holds on for P4. Danilo Petrucci from the back of the grid comes through for 5th. A great ride from him. Alex Lowe keeping him honest on that closing lap but finishes 4 cents back in 6th. Gary Montella, the second of the 2 Barney bikes that was in for repairs moments before the start, comes out at the second time of asking and takes 7th. It is Xavi Bierke, Garrett Gerloff, Axel Bassani, meaning that 2 promoters finish in the top 10. And then the remainder of the point paying positions, Van der Mark, Egerton, Iannone, McKenzie does hold on by 2 tenths ahead of Foglu. And now the fastest time those riders out of the points with 5 riders retiring from the action rather than the early stages. Confirmation then of your podium finishers. Alvaro Bautista, back-to-back rostrum finishes for him after his 3rd place in race 2 of the UK round. It's another 2nd place for Niccolo Bulliger. It's not what he needs, but at least he's keeping himself in the hunt. And how's he going to pull back points against Top Rack Razgatlioglu riding like that?
Unfortunately, it is what Bulliger needs because he just can't afford to give up those 9 points. Okay to give up 5 here and there, but he needs to do like he did at Moss, where he picks up one of the race wins, and over the course of the weekend you don't give up too many points, and that will be the target for Bulliger right now, and he'll hope that when we come back after the summer break that some of those tracks will just suit him a little bit better, somewhere like Aragon, and he'll view it that could be a good opportunity for him.
Well, it's the 999th race victory for Top Rack Razgatlioglu. He'll be hoping to make it the winner of the 1000th race, of course, big milestone for World SBK.
Yeah, Super Bowl race is going to be good fun to be able to get to that milestone, and obviously Top Rack, his goal is to win the 1000th race, his goal is to win the hat-trick this weekend, and he's been able to get it off to the right start. But again, you just got to see how difficult it is to beat him, because even though there were a few laps where he gave up a little bit of time to the riders around him, he didn't open up that margin at 2 seconds in the early stages, and he's always just so relentless at the start of races to try and open that gap and then control things. But it worked for him in this one, and it worked out well.
First visit to the Balaton Park circuit, there was enough overtaking when riders had a pace advantage they were able to get through. I think that was a decent enough race, barring obviously the comfort at the front of the Top Rack, but that's been the case gradually for the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, so for the Balaton Park circuit, we've been able to see that we had a very entertaining race there, really. There was a lot happening during it. We were able to see riders fighting with one another and trying to scrap it out, and we did see some overtaking moves. And certainly when you look at Danilo Petrucci coming from the back of the grid to be able to come away with a top 5 finish, it's a lot of progress being made by him.
Yeah, great work. A fair amount of that was done immediately, wasn't it? Petrucci is going to be an interesting one if we get the chance to watch any of the highlights reels in the coming days of Petrucci
at 5th on the grid, and he'll think that he will have a chance to be right in the thick of things fighting for the podium.
Yes, as you say, he was supposed to start in 15th, so effectively all of that hard work to end up back where he started. But Petrucci will be in Park Ferme to celebrate, top independent. Next best independent was Jari Montel, so good day all round for Barney Chicap. It didn't look like it was going to be, did it, after the crashes and the initial stoppage. Nicola Gulliger makes his way back in. Let's see what his reaction was like. Alvaro Bautista in behind in third position. Bautista said himself in the build-up to this round he feels he's the third fastest man in the championship. I think it's hard to disagree with that, but he's got to avoid those incidents that have cost him third in the championship. It is still Petrucci who holds it by a checkpoint margin.
Yeah, third fastest this year, third best, and he probably isn't on the course of what we've seen this year just because of those mistakes and the issues that he's had. But for Bautista, at the end of the day, double world champion, so we know what he's capable of. But he needs to try and get himself back to winning some races between now and the end of the season. And if he wants to get himself a ride for next year, the easiest way to do that is to get back to winning.
Yes, but even if he's not back to winning, let's be honest, Danilo Petrucci is just behind the scenes, he's being courted by BMW for a factory ride potentially for Petrucci for next season. For Alvaro Bautista, he's had comfortably more podiums than Petrucci. He's had, yes, 5 incidents, but 4 of them haven't been huge finishes. One or two of those may be debatable. But Bautista, another third position today. If you're going for the guy who's getting the podiums on the regular, you're going for Alvaro Bautista.
Yeah, if you're the independent team looking for the guy who gives you the best chance to get those strong results, it's hard to argue with Alvaro. But if you're the Barney team and all things have been equal, who would you prefer to have on your bike? You probably still prefer to have Petrucci on your bike. Obviously, that's not a decision that's going to be up to them. It's going to be where Danilo decides to go, and could well be where it's announced very soon that he's a BMW rider next year to replace Toprak. And that's certainly the big talking point around the paddock, and we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But a performance like this doesn't do Petrucci any harm. He's come through the field and he's been able to come away with top 5.
Yeah, and we saw that Iannone had the same task of coming through from the back and only gets the tyres pinned in. So at one stage there was supposed to be a rivalry between the two of them, wasn't there, for an Aruba seat. Ultimately, that's out of the question at this stage. But Petrucci, top independent, P5, Iannone coming back from the double long lap penalty only makes it a tyres 13. I think that underscores what a great job Petrucci has done in that race. And of course, big place, so good damage limitation on a day when Alvaro Bautista was well placed on the grid and was able to get straight up into those podium positions. Good ride from Bautista to make his move and come through, and good starts in both of the runnings there for Alvaro Bautista. So good reason to think that he could have another one, if not 2 podiums tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that for Bautista that has to be the target, to make sure he's giving himself a chance. And for Locatani, from that front row of the grid, he'll think that he has a chance to be able to fight it out. We saw in the early stages he was able to keep riders behind him. In the Super Bowl race, it's going to be interesting because some riders will opt for the softer tyres, the Q tyre, and it'll be interesting to see what the last 10 laps. That is one of the talking points. Or he could well have that rain that's been forecast to come in.
Yes, although the rain, much as it would spice things up, I don't think it would take away any likelihood of a Toprak Razgatlioglu victory, would it? There have not been too many this season of those sort of wacky races. The weirdest ones, I suppose, Phillip Island with the pit stop races and the dramas for Toprak on day 2, and then Assen. And ultimately, it's looking like Assen's been a make or break weekend, because it's one where Bullinger should have walked away with a big points advantage, and instead Toprak pulls back points. And then now we come to surface where Toprak's in a rich vein of form, and Bullinger's got no margin for error.
Yeah, that's the challenge right now, because you're trying to find a way to upset the rhythm there for Toprak. And you can see there he's giving Russ a little bit of stick, but for Toprak, he knows that he's got that advantage. For Bullinger, he knows it gets harder and harder. He needs a bit of luck on his side.
Razgatlioglu celebrating the victory. It is one that puts him 9 points clear of Nicolo Bullinger in the championship. You said it earlier on though, Steve, it only takes Bullinger to come away and win race 2, and suddenly Razgatlioglu makes very little over the course.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in Moss. The difference between it being a good weekend and a bad weekend was the amount of bike length. And for Razgatlioglu, he'll also be aware of that.
That's another third position for Alvaro Bautista. He's getting rather used to that. Only 2 of his podiums this season have been higher than that third place. He's the nearly man behind Razgatlioglu and Nicolo Bulliger, but that's got to be one of his best performances of this season so far. 2.2 seconds behind Bulliger at the checkered flag, matching his pace, certainly up to the third of proceedings. And it is back-to-back rostrum finishes for Alvaro Bautista.
Alvaro, strong result here in the first race at Balaton Park. A lot of support for you here. How did you feel?
Yeah, for sure I feel good, no? Because to be on the podium in the first race here in Hungary is special always, no? For sure, I did good start this time. I didn't have any trouble, so I was happy with that. But then in the first 6-7 laps, I was struggling a lot, no? So I pushed the maximum, but the bike just allowed me to do like this. Then when coming later with the less fuel, I can be more precise. I can push a bit harder. That's all. I try to don't lose the gap with Nicolo, because this track is very easy to make mistake. I try to just keep pushing and make him maybe make a mistake or something, no? But it didn't happen. He was so concentrated on the race. So congratulations to him as well. That's all. I hope tomorrow keep enjoying. Let's see also the weather, because it's like we will have different weather than today, but in any case we will try to do our best. And thanks for all the support to the all Hungarian fans.
Fantastic result. Well done.
Alvaro Bautista making light work of that third position in the end, coming through nicely on Andrea Locatelli, and we're going to see it again here. But from there it was a straightforward race from Bautista, but it was good to see him get into some clear air and immediately set lap times on the same pace as Nicolo Bulliger, even pull back a little bit of time. You start to think, well, maybe there was a chance of a result even better than second, and that hasn't been the case so much for this season.
Yeah, for a race, it's been so tough, but it's nice to see those little shoots of encouragement from him, because we know what he's capable of. We've been able to see him dominate races in the Superbike class. That's the rider you want to see, able to go in there and try and mix it with Bull against Toprak, but difficult to see how that can be the case as well. And you can see it there for Chris Goncho, just giving Dan Logan congratulations there for being the top independent rider, and nothing more to say about that. Sure.
Alvaro Bautista just needs super soft tyres for everyone, for every race, and will be sorted, because he's the man who benefits, but there's no tyre wear in the latter stages here, and Nicolo Bulliger keeps the margin at 2 seconds throughout. A damage limitation exercise and a hard-fought one for the second row.
Nicolo, second in race one after coming through a few overtakes along the way. Talk us about what was the race in very difficult conditions here.
Yeah, honestly, I lose some time at the beginning of the race, but then Toprak was already gone. But anyway, I'm quite happy, because yesterday we started very bad. I had zero feeling, and from yesterday to today we improved a lot, our bike. So I'm happy for the improvement, and my pace was not bad. So I will try to improve even more tomorrow.
Great job, well done.
Nicolo Bulliger with second position. He said it there, he lost too much time to Toprak by the time he got through to second place. But it's a familiar story. The same happened at Donington Park, and that's the lesson you've got to somehow learn for tomorrow, because you don't give Toprak a head start and expect to still be able to win a race.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds it seems to have been more of an issue for him, and for Bulliger last year that was the problem. At the start of this season he was able to avoid those kind of issues, but the last couple of rounds he's had those problems, and we'll see how tomorrow is, because the 10-lap Super Bowl race becomes critical for him.
Making his way through on Andrea Locatelli, obviously had to get through on teammate Alvaro Bautista early on as well, and that's the gap. That's what Alvaro Bautista's got to try and find if he's going to take some points from his teammate. But Bautista coming into good form at this stage of the season is bad news for Ducati, almost. Bulliger their title hopeful.
Very confused on Bulliger's side of the box after that second race finish there, and certainly for Nicola you can see the bit of frustration that will start to build, but you've got to be able to find a way to beat Toprak, and it's no easy feat.
So 70 wins now in World FBK, podium number 160 for Toprak Razgatlioglu. It's win number 13 in 2025, and it's the first of his Balaton Park sessions.
Toprak Toprak, 7 consecutive wins now, and that one was never in doubt from turn 1. Talk us through it.
First I say I'm really happy we did again, and also this is a new track for everyone, and we are good starting. But you know, we have 2 more races tomorrow. I'm just focused this. That looks like also the weather is not really clear. We will see. I hope everyone enjoying. See you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, well done.
He lost 3.5 seconds per race because that's the margin he seems to have at the moment over Niccolo Bulligan. You look at those most recent rounds, Lugano, Donington Park, and now Balaton Park, and that definitely seems to be able to ride with some comfort and still be ahead. Now, it's up to Bulligan to get clear of the rest of the field and take the fight to him tomorrow. But at the moment, Niccolo Bulligan, when you see him looking dejected, when you see everyone downcast, it seems that the championship is slipping away from him.
Yeah, a couple of rounds ago we thought it's almost certain you'll go right down to the wire. Now, you're not really thinking the same, and the reason for that is Toprak did the form he was in last year before match perform when he had all those race victories in a row, and he's just at his best, and he's found a way to make this bike work. It's not an easy bike to ride, but for Razgari Oglu, for Phil Marin, for the crew, they've been able to put it into a window that allows Toprak to still do the amazing, because there's no two ways about it. What Toprak is doing is really impressive, and he's just been able to find a solution to problems. To the not a was your Freddie best lap was 5 for Nico Toprak. It's just been into a window that allows Toprak to still do the amazing, because there's no two ways about it. What Toprak is doing is really impressive, and he's just been able to find a solution to the problems that we're having at the start of the season.
So Freddie best lap award, and it's the 90 points for Toprak Razgatlioglu, 13th fastest lap of the season. The others obviously a pole race, and also don't count towards your Freddie best lap award. 5 for Niccolo Bullica. The only other rider who landed 1 was Alvaro Bautista, and that was so Bullica and Razgatlioglu certainly the men to beat, but increasingly Toprak has been dominating on all of the metrics. 3 of the last 4 poles, just 1 defeat in the last 3 rounds plus this one now. Niccolo Bulligan scratching his head for a way to get back on track.
Yeah, for Ducati, that's the challenge that they have now, is to try and use the August race to find that solution. They've obviously got tomorrow's races still to come, but they know what they're up against with Toprak, and Bulligan's doing a great job, but Toprak and BMW just have that little bit of a step. They also have the more experience compared to Bulligan. You forget he's only into his 2nd season.
Because the one thing that's stopping Ducati is not the bike. Much as they're planning to bring a new model next season, it's only Toprak who can beat them.
And for Razgari Oglu, everybody knows the level that he's able to operate at. And for Ducati as well, that they know what they've got with Bulliga, and he's separated himself from the rest of the field this year, and that's all that you can ask for your rider. And you can see there for Bulliga, just the disappointment there, but you've got to be able to look for the job you're doing as well, and you have to think that Bulliga got as much as he can out of his package today.
So your top 3, Toprak Razgatlioglu, Niccolo Bulliga and Alvaro Bautista. It's win number 119 for Alvaro Bautista, number 19 of course. 2nd place for Niccolo Bulliga, putting number 43 for him, 5 second places in a row, and all of them behind Toprak Razgatlioglu. 18th podium of the season for Toprak, win number 13, and just that 1 defeat in the last 10 races. 7 victories in succession. Win number 70 in World SBK, podium number 160, and it will be Toprak crew chief Phil Marin making his way up onto the podium to celebrate, and in a couple of moments' time take his international anthem. In the meanwhile, number 999 is won by Toprak Razgatlioglu and gains another 5 points over Nicolo Bulligan to extend his championship lead. Decent ride from Alvaro Bautista, 2.2 seconds behind Nicolo Bulligan for much of that race. Andrea Locatelli, best of the rest, maintaining his run of top 5 finishes. What a great day for Barney Ducati. Danilo Petrucci coming through from the back of the grid to take P5, and Gary Montella with his best result up in 7th. Loves the point paying positions. Taz McKenzie takes 2 and 14, and then perhaps 15th. A race of attrition with several riders out. The last of them, Jonathan Ray, with a pair of spills. They will bounce back tomorrow. Race 1 of this historic first Hungarian round in 35 years. Single change positions inside the top 10. Unfortunately, Nico Lecuona ruled out after his crash in initial running. Alex Lowe leapfrogged him and up to 8th place, only 3 points now behind Captain DFA in that top 4. Manufacturers Championship then, and it's victory for BMW, only 24 points away now from Ducati. If Toprak keeps winning like that, Ducati are at risk of losing that Manufacturers Championship lead. Well, do join us at the same time tomorrow for race 2, but before that, Balaton Park's first ever TISO Super Bowl race at 11 o'clock. Goodbye for now.
Terlalu sakit damage-nya, terlalu besar juga, dan harusnya di arah bottom lane kalau defense-nya masih terjaga. Tapi 3 base itu sekarang udah mulai terekspos ya, dengan Lord yang sekarang sudah mulai muncul 3-0, mendapatkan sedikit farmingan di arah top, dengan turret lagi-lagi yang akan menjadi pertukaran yang ingin dilakukan oleh area ketiga.
Tapi kalau dia dapat sekarang ya selesai. Kalau masih mau ngamanin orange bang, selesai, bisa jadi. Tapi kayaknya
Cuma kayak jadi dong, kayaknya emang ada informasi lain juga di mana kita dapat orange bang dan pertukaran kan. Tapi ya memang nggak terlalu tapi dikejar.
yang dikejar sepertinya 2 player Sirot mencoba untuk bisa menyamakan diri atas ada berhasil ditumpangkan holding defense yang terbuka.
Wow. Ini nggak dikasih pulang loh, lihat. Siapa yang cita-citanya ketempelan pemilu? Nah, ini seluruhnya betul-betul diikutin, betul-betul di stok sampai kemanapun dia berlari. Dengan hadirnya sekarang Lord dan Uresinya terlalu depan kah?
Oke, Uresi terlalu depan. Palisa lompat dan Uresi hanya menghantarkan nyawa.
Dan sampai sekarang dikabarkan Shiro masih belum pulang.
Iya, Hero masih di atas, masih sulit banget untuk bisa pulang. Dan penalize mereka BK Raja Paddock patut sakit banget. Mereka benar-benar mengusir. Dan sekarang ada satu crossbowing yang diaktifkan, tapi Netherlands coba lihat. Netherlands langsung ke China dari crossbowing.
Yap, tapi fokus menuju ke arah base-nya sekarang dari Lord yang sekarang sudah mulai masuk juga. Onyx Philippines setelah kehilangan Kurt, gak banyak lagi yang bisa dilakukan selain tarik mundur dulu, fokus dulu ke arah base turret di arah bawah.
Wah, mereka mau langsung harus sini. Oke, kita lihat seperti apa dan Hunter kembali terkena dengan patron kuat biasa di sini. Masih sempat bisa pergi dan juga menyelamatkan diri dan Uresi sempat masuk dalam area defensive dan base-nya terbuka. Akankah mereka ingin menyelesaikan ini secara langsung? Tapi masih bisa ditahan oleh pemain-pemain dari area 7.
Wah, tapi masih ada 10 detik loh untuk Hunternya hadir kembali. Tapi masalahnya sekarang Super White Minion di tengah akan segera masuk.
Ya,
Tapi fokus dari Onyx Philippines adalah base turret terlebih dahulu. 3 base turret sekarang yang sudah dikantongi dan masih masih di situ.
Masih di situ mereka.
Belum mau pulang, nggak mau pulang. Dan benar-benar bertahan di sana, mengandangi dan gak keluar dari area terjadi. Oh,
Oke, ini kepada Blue Ender, Joy Boy yang berhasil dihancurkan. Sementara sekarang kalau Forte yang tahu terbuka tapi masih ada pengejar crowd. Jahat banget. Begitu banyak delay untuk one-one. Dan base-nya terbuka. Bisakah mereka menyelesaikan ini? Tapi isunya pun masih bertahan. Tidak ada West Minion masuk sedikit lagi. Dan isu down. Game selesai.
dan kali ini Onyx Philippines berhasil untuk bisa mendapatkan clean sweep 2-0. Dan satu tim yang harus tereliminasi, perwakilan dari NA area 77 yang harus juga tereliminasi.
Oke. Selesai sudah. Match ketiga teman-teman berhasil. Onyx Philippines masih akan tetap melanjutkan pertempurannya dengan 1 match tersisa. Dan untuk sekarang, mari ini semua dibahas oleh our panelists.
Terima kasih Pak Bulu dan juga Aul. Wow, 2-0 melanjutkan perjalanan mereka lebih dekat lagi menuju ke babak knockout. Tapi untuk area 77, sayangnya langkah mereka nggak bisa terlalu panjang untuk series kali ini dan mereka harus berhenti sampai di sini. Dan Onyx Philippines, apa yang terjadi di game yang kedua mereka bisa dapatin bisa cukup flawless ya gitu.
Belajar kali ya dari game yang pertama kayak gerakan-gerakan tambahan gak dibutuhkan, tapi ya wajar karena di match pertama udah kurang tumbang dan super fresh berani banget ya untuk beberapa kali bikin play yang emang itu yang dibutuhkan sama Onyx Philippines actually dari game yang pertama, karena dengan Hero Kagura dia gak bakal bisa bikin play sampai itemnya cukup atau spike kayak gue udah bilang tadi. Dengan Paddock karena dia tipenya utility dia bisa action dari awal.
Jadi tutorial ini berhasil nih ya.
Karena enable sama enable. Jadi lebih ke tutor play sih. Iya, dan cukup kontras lah ya dengan Kagura yang mungkin akan yuk kita clear supaya dan spike ini para mid nggak bisa lebih main bareng, join bareng, dan terbukti dari gameplaynya gitu. Dan nanti salah satu contoh action gue juga kan kayak super freeze-nya yang memancing, nanti ternyata di follow up dengan EOG, dan beberapa kali kita melihat ya lagi-lagi ya play itu sangat-sangat tidak seimbang untuk teman-teman dari area 77 karena kayak yang bergerak gue tapi gak ada yang follow up. Jadi walaupun gue dapetin satu tapi trade-nya tuh gak ada untuk area 77 dan alhasil keuntungan dari pundi-pundi as tersebut yang membuat Onyx Philippines selalu unggul di game posisi. Dan ya Zero juga udah under farm, Suyo kalau udah under gak bisa main boost, control boostnya juga kurang, yang jadi giving pressure yang mestinya ada dari Zero ini gak ada. Dan lihat setiap Zero muncul mau bring mid, bring atas, ini Onyx Philippines rotasinya sangat-sangat on point dan tepat untuk melakukan eksekusi. Dan ya there you go, 2-0 yang relatif cepat.
Iya ya, relatif cepat sih. Aku bisa bilang poin eliminasi yang didapatkan juga cukup tinggi nih dari Onyx Philippines terhadap area 77. Dan yang membuat dari area 77 kayaknya harus belajar untuk mengevaluasi sangat banyak ya berarti untuk di MSI tahun depan mungkin kalau misalnya kita bisa bertemu lagi. Tapi ada beberapa pertanyaan juga ya, kayak kita sebenarnya melihat tadi pemilihan ke arah Esmeralda. Kayak apakah ini benar-benar kamu dari kemana Esmeralda terus Esmeralda lagi?
Esmeralda.
Iya,
Apa kayak Uranus?
iya.
Tadi yang witrannya kecil banget, perkenyataannya, dan kalau kita ngomongin Esmeralda yang kayak tidak bilang berarti 2 kali lipat 40% tidak buruk-buruk banget. Tapi emang kayak gak semua kondisi tuh harus ada Esmeralda.
Kalau di kondisi ini?
Ya. Kalau ini bukan studio ya, kalau ini let's say kayak Bang Shelfie sendiri, Esmeralda masuk banget. Karena ada efek stun duluan, baru nanti Jawheadnya bisa follow juga. Tapi kalau misalkan cuma Jawhead yang punya efek sisi, Esmeraldanya jadi kayak berat banget. Itu sih sebenarnya poinnya. Terlalu apa ya, mungkin lah bisa dibilang oke, ada emang kalau Stormon ada, tapi soalnya semua itu sangat-sangat mirip dan sangat-sangat kental. Dan jadi terlihat di dari gameplay sangat nyaman. Ditambah lagi ada Emerald yang akan selalu membackup, nambah lagi baitan kemarin antara maju dan fight, atau yang tadinya mundur dia bisa ngebalikin dan terlihat tidak ada lagi mungkin wah ada Winterfell untuk 2 hero dari Onyx Philippines, berarti mereka emang kuat lah bisa nahan semua ya perform tank, karena emang pemicu perangnya dari teman-teman Onyx Philippines fokus on tank dan mereka
seberapa banyak inovasi yang sudah berhasil dilakukan oleh Adi Filipin dengan cuma inovasi secara objektif menurutku juga poin kecil. Jadi hal yang biasanya jarang banget kita lihat kalau ngomongin di Filipin ya, karena kan biasanya mereka objektif, tapi sekarang mereka dapat insight yang banyak banget.
Ya, karena memang apapun bisa juga banyak kan ya dari di arena 77 dan ya di Philippines mereka selalu juga ya yang namanya objektif, tapi kalau ada yang not in position mereka pasti eksploitasi, pasti panik, mereka pasti manfaatin dan terjadi 23 kill dalam waktu yang relatif cukup cepat. Ya aku melihatnya ini on the Philippines lossnya oke tetap menyeramkan bisa.
Tapi ada notes gak sih untuk Adi Filipin kayak apakah memang tadi udah seperti itu atau dari setelahnya harus bisa mereka fix lagi?
Itu lebih kecil di game kedua window kesalahannya kecil banget ya, jadi jatuhnya malah menurutku yang harus pegangan adalah di match keempat karena yang kalah ya lawan mereka oleh Filipina yang lagi terancam. Si Landak ini lagi dipaksa untuk ke airport tapi nggak mau, dia malah mau pulangin lawannya siapapun itu kan.
Iya, lagi berontak ya dari Sri Lanka dan
Landak
Bingkong.
berontak namanya.
Ini Bingkong yang mau berontak juga ya sebenarnya. Dengan 2 title yang langsung berhasil di secure to the carry dan juga 3 yang bisa diamankan.
Dan ini 2 kali loh, pertama juga juga sebagai jungler, dan kali ini bukan Super Prince namun Bingkong yang menjadi carry. Dia terlihat lebih aktif ya, dan meskipun hero yang butuh item tampaknya dia aktif juga. Iya apa kita ngomongin Bingkong di sini ya, berarti kayak sama aja dengan pilihan farming lainnya, nanti kayak Aswad baik lagi jatuhnya farming pattern dan juga turtle patternnya dari tim Onyx itu sendiri, karena mereka bakal play a role di triangle-nya dulu, mid roamer sama jungle. Nah baru kalau udah mulai in-game coba enable the gold standard.
Gold standard yang lain menjadi MVP presented by Sony juga dari Eritel yang diamankan 303 secara kill assist mungkin memang tidak terlalu besar, tapi melihat Eritel yang cukup bebas ya pada akhirnya dijaga dengan sangat baik membuat Kelra punya impact yang sangat besar juga di game kedua tadi.
Game 3 kan salah satu counter dari One dan ini terjalankan dan bagi action ultinya clean, dia pinter in and out-nya, gak terlalu mudah show ya, dimanfaatkan lah benar-benar baik oleh Onyx.
Ya, dan itu dia untuk MVP pertandingan kita untuk Kelra. Mungkin nanti kita bisa melihat lagi ya momen-momen yang didapetin sama Kelra dan teman-temannya dari segi highlight gitu yang kita saksikan.
Kalau kita ngeliat ini berarti momen akhir ya emang mau endgame, dan emang cara endgame-nya juga menurutku agak dipaksa dari Onyx karena emang mereka temuin celahnya, mereka temuin timing yang tepatnya, karena kalau semakin lama game berjalan juga gak bagus buat mereka. Kalau ingat either way lawan adalah one-one yang tadi sempat gue bilang ini hero game changer banget, tapi ya ini dia satu momen dimana teman-teman dari Onyx Philippines benar-benar baru banget nih buat Kelranya, dia kayak ngebuka ruang dulu, Kelranya udah ngeliat ada beberapa ultimate baru dia jogging, dia masuk.
Entah ya untuk momen defensive juga misalkan Angel saja ketemu Angel jadi memang udah finishing yang bagus banget, triple kill ya menjadi penonton dari Kelra sendiri, jadi 30 kill tadi ya ya
Fokus farming.
betul, fokus karena farmingnya juga dan ngebuat ya kalau lihat ya beberapa di Filipina tinggal menunggu nih siapa yang akan menjadi lawan mereka.
Siapa yang akan bisa mereka, dan nanti aku kebetulan lagi downloading data.
Apa tuh?
Aku lagi dikirimin data sama teman-temanku yang dari utara. Itu nanti terkait juga dengan match yang keempat. Karena match keempat ini akan menentukan juga siapa yang nanti akan mendapatkan second pick atau third pick-nya. Untuk 2-0. Karena tim 2-0 itu berhak pilih.
Iya.
Betul, tim 2-1. Dan untuk sementara ya kalau kita lihat emang tim ini lagi unggul dari urutan pertama dengan 53 menit. Sementara itu untuk RRQ itu udah urutan yang kedua, urutan ketiga itu Mythic Seal. Jadi tinggal dilihat dulu nih, apakah nanti akan lebih cepat, karena untuk kedua tim ini average 30 menitan. Ya dibilang match terakhir ini akan menentukan bagaimana nasib mereka nanti.
Ya, kita akan lihat ya berarti dari segi game time-nya nih yang bakal jadi sangat krusial karena di match yang keempat kita akan segera menyaksikan permainan antara Home Boys versus Team Spirit. Dua tim yang juga benar-benar sangat diperhatikan dari segala sisi, tapi sebelum masuk ke dalam match yang keempat kita akan break dulu sejenak, jangan kemana-mana, tetap di MSC _podcast 2025, we'll be right back.
You just have to follow the MSC history footprint.
Yes.
MSC started off with topic 4
what?
Look, eight different warriors, all from different lands. One sacred path.
Oh my, bananas,
We have to find the next meet first. Because then, we like sport. Imagine it. The balance. MS-25. Here we go next. Look.
yeah, I like the sound of that.
Okay, I got this. What's that? Great Scott! It's the Crusade format! MS-25. Balance and really remember, all teams belong to the and be drawn into the same group. That way of people couple elimination. Record and super survival with a team. One record will then advance into the final ultimate glory. It is still a group stage or a group pellet stage. Well, kind of both. It's the best of both worlds. Perfect! Now we can solidify the format. Before you even get here. Here we go. I found it! Look at the knockout stage. Knockout stage. They want to make. Well, the two only teams can pick a weaker team for a better matchup, or they can just find a tougher team. The question is, which team is most equally or shorter team? We're gonna have to wait till we get to the until then. Have a look at the playoff bracket.
Before the grand final.
Final best of 7 round of champions. There you have it. The MSC 2025 format on card.
Yes. Selamat datang kembali di match keempat hari ini di MSC Atas Basel Cup 2025 disiarkan langsung dari Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Hungaria. Now dan match keempat kali ini masih bersama Profesor KB dan juga Goni yang akan menemani kita untuk melihat Homeboys versus Team Spirit.
Ya, kita barusan saja mengantar satu tim pulang. Satu tim stay. Dan kita lihat satu tim yang akan turun ke lolos dan mana yang lolos ke babak knockout.
Oke, kalau misalnya secara general, Homeboys versus Team Spirit, siapa yang lebih kalian unggulkan dari kedua tim ini?
Jujur kalau mau ngeliat ya memang Homeboy sering banget internasional secara organisasi, cuma secara roster ini masih sedang lebih terbilang baru dan jadi ketika kemarin melawan Flash ada faktor waktu ya ada sedikit ya, tapi jangan kaget kalau misalkan kita tahu sendiri Homeboy ini punya banyak banget strat yang mereka bawakan. Mereka pernah membawakan Mister Goblin, mereka pernah membawakan hero-hero yang ya tidak pernah muncul lah di radar ML manapun dan juga qualifier manapun. Jangan sampai malah Team Spirit yang kemakan dengan kejutan yang dibawakan sama teman-teman dari Homeboys.
Oke, tapi kan masih makin menarik lagi ya untuk melihat MSC kali ini, terutama kalau misalnya kalian mau gitu ya dalam ini game, udah ada MSC Pass yang membuat semuanya jadi lebih menarik dengan diskon 20% selama eventnya berlangsung. Tapi ingat ini waktu terbatas ya, jadi sebelum sampai habis jalan ini langsung. Terus sekarang juga untuk MSC
Tapi malah akan lebih banyak lagi orang-orang yang pengen action kayak baca event, apapun itu, lancelot, kong,
Atau Kagura nyobain lagi.
Kagura super sprint, Amon apa?
Oh, ya itu juga bisa lakukan.
Banyak loh pas bilang dia ntar malam nih. Tapi udah malam sekarang.
Oh ya, di sana udah malam memang. Makanya ini waktu yang sangat pas untuk ngelihat homeboy satu tim spirit ya malam-malam kayak gini. Apalagi dengan playernya ada Bell, Eimal, Izanami itu ya kalau main sebagai defense juga, Ivan yang mungkin juga sudah family di garage dan Mel Beauty di area gold lane.
Ya untuk homeboy mungkin aku akan bilang kalau misalkan emang porosnya akan bergantung pada Pat from the Fell. Tapi untuk Izanami jangan pernah underestimate pemain dan senior banget. Dan aku dari dulu memantau banget yang namanya FL Malaysia, Izanami itu kayak one of a kind.
Bukan. Apa yang spesial memang dari Izanami?
Ya, dan di posisi segala macam dia bisa jadi mid laner dan AD mungkin bersamaan. Tapi masalahnya emang metanya bukan lagi mid laner ini. Metanya gold lane atau jungle.
Tapi ini dia yang lawannya juga nggak bisa di-underestimate sama sekali. Hit bomba, one shot dengan jungle-jungle-nya luar biasa. Ada veteran juga, Sunset Lover, Sawo sebagai roamer dan juga Cody buat kill kematian.
Wah, ini benar-benar bahaya sih. Dan aku suka sih tadi mention Sunset Lover. Itu banyak banget pengalamannya dan ditambah lagi ada legend yang mungkin anak mudanya juga ya. Enggak asing internasional lagi komanya ini bisa menunjukkan taringnya sebenarnya dan ini yang menjadi bahayanya dari homeboy.
Tapi kan masih seumuran kan sama Eko ya?
Aku di bawah 1 tahun.
Di bawah 1 tahun ya, itu mengada-ngada ya mulai ya. Mulai terlalu jauh
Sehat-sehat,
mengada-ngada.
sehat ya. Sehat-sehat, sehat-sehat.
Tapi memang kalau kita ngeliat dari kedua belah tim ini, dulunya tuh punya daya tarik tersendiri gitu. Kayak dari homeboy tadi sempat kita bahas tim lanernya, kayaknya backup tim laner sih. Yang mungkin harus sedikit di
Yang
spotlight
kita
ya.
perhatikan, udah mager. Yang pertama, hero utility ini agak sedikit berbeda karena kalau Sunset Lover dia malah lebih hidup ya menurutku. Kalau dia pegang hero utility.
Oke.
Sementara Izanami dia akan lebih hidup kalau dia benar-benar speed damager. Ya, either partial tapi apapun itu. Pokoknya yang selama dia jadi damager utama, tim yang bersama dengan Izanami akan terbantu sekali. Ini akan seru banget. Jadi ada clash of crystal juga di Rapid Lane. Dan ditambah lagi ya, ini sebenarnya ya, balik lagi ya. Duet, kalau kita ngomongin itu jangan lupa koneksi sama rumor dan duet pasti sama Van. Ya, kita tahu ya Van Kong itu beberapa kali Rom, tampaknya sangat nyaman kepada diri seperti nyaman banget di posisi dia. Ya, kemudian mereka kemarin berhasil menang melawan Flash. Apakah justru mereka bisa belajar dan malah secure masuk kemenangan pertandingan?
Karena ini adalah pertandingan perebutan satu tiket langsung ya.
Iya.
Secara knockout.
Yang menang akan ke knockout stage. Pertanyaannya, berapa game time-nya? Karena berdasarkan tadi yang sebelum mungkin kita break, mungkin buat teman-teman yang baru join juga bersama dengan kita, aku kebetulan dapat data dari temanku dari utara lagi ya, dari utara, Jakarta Utara. Namanya Bang Beruang ya. Itu dia sangat-sangat aktif sekali dan emang kalau ngomongin game time ya, sekarang homeboy sama tim itu berdekatan.
Nah, ini bikin jiwa kita juga semakin berkorban pastinya ya buat teman-teman semua. Kembali lagi kalian bisa langsung login juga untuk melihat keseruan. Wah, ini udah kelihatan nih ya, para analis kita sudah sangat berkorban. Nah, kayak gitu. Jadi langsung login aja sekarang juga sebelum nanti ketinggalan karena udah ada Metro Zero di dalam video dan bisa kalian ikutin keseruannya.
Wow, seru.
KRL ya, KRL Hungaria. Kan Metro.
Benar.
Inspired by Manggarai.
Dan aku jadi penasaran, mereka kan masih segera hadir, belum available lah. Itu nanti buat teman-teman yang mau kalau mereka ada dari show bisa ya pakai nanti ya udah bilang. Saya sudah mana ketemu
Lebih jauh lagi ya kalau sampai
keberang.
ya langsung aja kalian nantikan terus untuk poin pokoknya ya keseruan-keseruan apa aja akan muncul dengan jiwa yang sangat berkobar seperti itu ya analis kita tadi.
Jiwa kita berkobar lah. Mau ditanya kalau kata gue dipercaya juga kalau kita nanti akan berlari ke playoff dari lower bracket. Yang kali pertama dari on stage soalnya iya kayak semakin lama turnamen berjalan semakin kuat.
Ada ya memang
Catat.
tapi itu cuma berapa buat Onyx Angel nih Onyx Angel juga seperti itu ya buat saat ini
Oh itu emang lebih serem aja. Yang satu itu emang lebih serem.
agak different deh
Kalau dia udah kecil. Nah, ini enggak ini gitu kan. Kenapa gitu ya? Tiba agak nyesek juga tuh.
Iya, makanya kalau kita bandingkan kecerahan muka-muka para pembalap ya, kayak tuh lihat tuh Verstappen, Gonin, dan sekarang melihat dari pertandingan yang akan kita saksikan ada satu misi ya, satu mission yang akan dikejar juga pastinya. Dan ini langsung bisa kita lihat bagaimana man on a mission, Pico Mania, yang kalau kita melihat dari secara historinya ini cukup berbeda ya, kayak pernah dapetin 2-0 dari Homeboys ketika berhadapan dengan Team Spirit, tapi ketika berhadapan dengan Pico Team Spirit sempat dapetin 1.
Sangat-sangat ya bisa dibilang berarti udah familiar lah ya dengan game Malaysia, dengan playstyle dan identitasnya. Sekarang aku juga penasaran dengan komennya yang kemarin hampir karena ego sendiri loh Tim Spirit ini menang sebenarnya. Jadi dia yang momen itu mereka 18+3 yang kami itu adalah game time yang lumayan panjang, tapi untungnya ya gara-gara egonya ini dan mereka ada relasi sedikit emang sama Malaysia. Relasinya bukan berarti pemainnya dari Malaysia yang ada di Team Spirit, tapi mereka membuktikan yang tahu rata-rata di Malaysia. Mereka emang ya pernah sekali kita mendapatkan informasi dan segala macamnya, atau mereka pernah skrip secara langsung karena ya lagi banyak loh untuk musim ini untuk gamenya di Malaysia.
Iya, di area Asia Tenggara juga ya.
Betul.
Ini jadi satu hal yang menarik, tapi sekarang yang lebih menarik lagi kita akan segera masuk ke dalam Consolidating Homeboys yang akan ada di area Verspin dan melihat adanya Salea, Yurena, Toxia yang sudah mulai ditutup. Ada lagi kah yang harus diwanti-wanti kalau melihat dua tim ini?
Masih ya tentunya one-one dan mungkin yang perlu juga tadi kita bahas konsep rubber substitution ini akan menjadi yang cukup mahal sebenarnya ya. Dan juga mungkin Matilda kalau Matilda itu ya. Fun strong sangat menurutku ya berkepribadian itu sangat nyaman dengan Matilda dan emang lumayan cocok karena Neymar ini fleksibel banget, dia main lap slot, sahabat controller, dia main tank jungle juga ready. Kalau misalkan kita sandingkan Neymar dengan yang sama-sama dari Malaysia, kita ambil contoh Sekai. Aku rasa Sekai sangat unggul kalau ngomongin assassin. Tapi ngomongin itu di tank jungle itu ya kita harus bilang Neymar dia strong banget di poin itu. Mungkin kita akan lihat ya. Jadi mungkin kita bisa expect pressuring Lancelot, atau mungkin pressuring Akai. Kalau emang Akai Lancelot, Lancelot itu bisa banget. Tiga hero ini yang tentunya masih populer, bisa dibilang untuk nasionalis ya, untuk mengirimkan kompetisi ini. Mau one-one ya, mau one-one berarti perfect banget kan, ya nggak ada masalah. Kalau sekarang udah ada kita landingnya kuat,
Biar tersebut banding ya.
atau ya yang kayak gue bilang nanti kalau misalkan ternyata tiba-tiba di Spirit nge-bandnya one-one overtake dan ternyata perfectnya berbeda, kita ambil satu tadi yang aku bilang kayak perfectnya bisa jadi Kara dan Matilda, terus ada Arlon juga, Arlon Frederick sangat-sangat possible. Jadi menurutku bisa jadi sebuah umpan, tapi ternyata umpan tersebut tidak ditangkap.
Betul, tapi berarti dari Homeboysnya tetap bisa ngalahin one-one ya. Ya, double win untuk Homeboys. Mau gimana pun hasilnya dari banding yang dilakukan sama Team Spirit. Dan ternyata semua orang
Ini defended. Itu tadi matinya. Berarti Kara. One-one akan sama. Ini aku sangat-sangat wow, sangat mau Granger mungkin mau menang dari top damage. Nanti ambilnya tuh Granger Parsnya. Biar nanti one-one-nya kerepotan. Kalau misalkan lawan hero-hero kan ya jarak jauh, hero yang sangat-sangat sangat bisa mengimpact, apalagi di goal awal clear cepat untuk party itu sama dengan menang di goal lane coy. Jadi langsung balik datang ke goal lane kok
Oke, sebenarnya juga yang diamankan oleh Team Spirit ini juga bisa langsung menjawab nanti beberapa hero-hero semua mobility yang akan dimainkan. Ada Badang ini Quick kan?
good pick sebenarnya karena bakal mungkin cuma aku lebih kaget Paddock ini ambil duluan ya. Kayak cukup apa ya, kalau berarti nyaman banget dan kayaknya mereka ya udah langsung gasin aja. Sebenarnya aku nggak terlalu gimana ya, nggak suka juga sebenarnya dengan badannya, cuman gue bisa memaksimalkan ini bagian cukup krusial juga sebelum tutup. populer tadi. Kayaknya mereka ingin memberikan keleluasaan untuk homeboys dulu, nge-ban nanti hero-hero yang tersisa, sehingga nanti untuk hero-nya Sawo juga akan semakin lebih banyak kan. Menurutku ya, dan dibandingkan nanti fokusnya dari teman-teman experience untuk fokus ke arah dari nge-ban hero-hero tekniknya dan segala macamnya ya, alangkah baiknya menurutku emang pilih fokus kayak yang ghosting aja yang enable untuk one-one-nya. Mereka bisa banget untuk main tank jungle juga di sini, makanya angka di ban. Apalagi semenjak ada Badang, alangkah baiknya emang main hero-hero yang nanti kalau dipukul-pukul sama Badang kayak gak ada masalah.
Maksudku dalam list yang lain ini berarti masih akan kita tunggu ya. Kita buat sekarang nih Spirit, apa aja hero-hero yang akan mereka cukup khawatirkan ketika bertemu dengan one-one, dan udah ada Haret yang cukup banyak ya pilihan Golden yang masuk dalam list ini, juga Haret, Mortal, dan juga Intel. Dan buat Homeboy, kalau menutup ke arah angkanya ada posibilitas lain kan yang harus ditutup dari Homeboy?
Kalau mau ngomong cara jungle event, bilang kalian aja, jangan aku ya tengah-tengah Fred dan juga yang buat jungle juga tetap aja di depan sudah mereka yang dan lagi soalnya
Selain Pasir, sekarang mereka yang harus tutup ya?
ya so far untuk mereka mainnya Akai dan Lanswap ya. Jadi kenapa aku expect itu sebagai plan, cuma mereka lebih pilihnya mereka ada strategi karena mereka punya ada radar lah. Ternyata Chow kira-kira itu cukup populer ya Chow. Lastingnya kayaknya bakal berhasil di Chow.
Oh ya.
Ya lastingnya dan Tilted, karena kalau dilihat dari datanya ini ya Tilted lumayan populer banget dengan Chow 12 kali ke 92% win rate di CA. Jadi ya akan sangat wajar kalau tiba-tiba kita akan melihat tanda kutip ya Joy nekat waktu lawan Badang. Joy nekat sebutannya.
Karena udah ada Badang,
Udah ada Badang, oh tabrak.
Tabrak ya. Tapi ya masih kita lanjut ya, mungkin udah berubah, nanti kita bakal lihat hasilnya seperti apa. Dan dari Homeboy untuk melengkapi jam awal mereka ada tuh di
Jadi bisa join aja. Kalau aku mainnya malah ada posisi board malah.
reaksi tadi ya, bukan
Ya karena seperti yang kemarin Pak Strong menggunakan Badang, jadi untuk ruginya ini akan cukup strong dan guna clear. Oh, berapa gue yang brilliant. Wah itu banget tuh dari Kiko banget ya. Main jungle sering banget kalau main sama kalian di jungle gitu.
Oke, ini dia berarti ya untuk drafting secara keseluruhan yang sudah bisa kita lihat dari game pembuka untuk match antara Homeboy Transformative Spirit. Tapi game ini akan kita saksikan langsung saja dengan casters yang bertugas. Ada Papulo dan juga Al, silakan.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ini dia Homeboys versus Team Spirit.
Ini semakin seru deh, semakin banyak juga hero-hero yang baru muncul ya. Guinevere Jungle ya sekarang kembali diperlihatkan oleh Team Spirit. Tapi bersabar dulu. Sabar, kita belum bisa menuju ke lane of down.
Ya.
Nah ini ya, POV mejanya berseberangan. Enggak nempel. Sabar. Beda. Ya, tapi ini dia untuk adanya match up antara Lancelot yang mungkin kita baru perdana nih ngeliat match up sama dengan Guinevere di jungle. Sedangkan kalau Lancelot emang apparently udah banyak banget juga kan. Tapi kangen gak ngeliat Guinevere jungle?
Kangen. Pernah digunakan kemarin di MPL lagi. Season 15 sudah ada ya? Ada sekali waktu itu Albert yang menggunakan kan. Albert juga kalau tidak salah digunakan.
Iya, dan ini satu-satunya belum Verify cuma dengan itu ya. Belum ada Verify lagi untuk Melkinnya juga terutama, tapi
Oke, itu dia. Dibanting untuk kali ini nanti masih belum berimpact apapun. Ivan salah satu pemain dari Pakuan. Pastrong.
kuat gak? Kuat dong. Tapi untuk Sawo juga gak mau kalah main agresif ya. Dia bakal coba ngasih poke damage juga membuat dan Ivan agak sedikit tergerus dari segi HP-nya, tapi freeze ini ya sedang dilakukan oleh Sansa Clover di arah tengah dengan penggunaan Jumping juga membawakan agility dan juga Warrior's Blessing. Movement yang ingin coba untuk dicari, tapi Iko nih. Ikonya mencuri dan Scatter the Grab lumayan banget sih pastinya.
Yap, sementara itu Big Bomba di tempat berbeda dengan penggunaan cincin dan cincin Vengeance. Wah, PT juga nge-match.
menguasai terlebih dahulu area dari Turtle yang sudah mulai kecil lagi bomba.
Iya, sementara sekarang kita lihat akan seperti apa lagi setup yang mereka lakukan karena sekarang satu loper tadi udah mulai terjebak dengan satu pistol yang dikeluarkan hanya saja one shot sedikit lagi one shotnya tumbang Ivan di depan beda masih cukup aman dan Sawo mencoba untuk bisa mengejar tapi Pel sudah bergabung dan Turtle berhasil diamankan oleh Lancelot dibanting lagi Elmanya tumbang dan Sawo masih selamat beserta dengan King Bomba tapi satu loper
Jauh. Benar-benar harus hilang juga dan akhirnya
apa yang terjadi? What?
terlalu cepat itu dia hanya pendek sepertiga detik yang membuat dari Sawo pun tak berkutik lagi. Apa yang coba diinginkan oleh Team Spirit untuk sekedar menuju ke arah Turtle ternyata belum menjadi jaminan mereka bisa dapetin keunggulan karena punishment demi punishment yang dilakukan oleh Homeboys berimpact banyak untuk mereka.
Yep. Oke. Begitu baik dari setup dan ini dia replay.
Karena mau pendek itu cooldownnya cepet banget
Ya.
makanya sisi-sisi kecil kayak Tikus, kayak Dontran waktu dan di sini semuanya terpisah. Sawonya fokus untuk ngejar belakang dan mau walaupun memang dia dapetin kesempatan ya dari secure ke arah Turtle juga cuman akhirnya dia tumbang
juga.
Team Spirit yang mau coba untuk panik tapi ternyata dibalikin lagi sama Homeboys yang gak pulang cepet kan berarti sudah pipa yang sempit dan rentan waktu yang sedikit anggap saja sudah keluar 2 kali.
Ivannya masih putar-putar di area siapa yang akan menjadi korban Ivan belum punya bunker
Masih cukup harus sedikit tahan dulu ya nanti Sawo. Oke, hanya memberikan sedikit geretakan aja masih ada aksi gerak juga untuk diganamin dulu.
ya tadi ekspresi keuangan traction pulse nggak connect ada satu kombinasi yang gagal sepertinya dan Homeboys
Itu kombinasi yang diinginkan ya. Big break, traction pulse, dari terlalu jauh dari jangkauan yang diinginkan juga. Bergerak lagi ke arah bottom lane, ada space yang bisa di-secure oleh Nico. Dapetin dorongan menuju ke arah wave juga, tapi kayaknya nggak bisa nge-follow lagi dengan Jill ke arah platingannya.
ya
Lebih memilih untuk mundur dan set up ke area dari Turtle-nya. Harus waspada dengan Ricky Ivan, karena sekarang flickernya juga ready.
4 player udah di area mid bahkan dari Max mereka sendiri juga sudah join Nico mundur kembali jangan sampai timer performa benteng udah
One shot, bilang ya. Sebel ya.
Oke, traction pulse-nya gagal lagi untuk bisa mendapatkan tadi seperti yang diwabah yang dia tuju. Namun Ivan, single yang tersisa, ada flicker sekarang. Apakah kombinasi yang akan dia keluarkan karena pelnya udah gagal untuk bisa bertahan dan Turtle-nya berhasil diamankan pula. Begitu baik one shot. Eimal menjadi Paddock. What? Runner up abadi dari Melkiti.
Wow, Melkiri. Satu runner up abadi yang akhirnya ngebuat punishment terhadap Sawo ya. Tapi tim ini mereka secure Turtle-nya loh di tangan dari Kid Bomba. Dan juga ngebuat dari Eimal yang memang masuk terlalu dalam juga akhirnya bisa dikantongi poin kill-nya.
Ya udah sakit banget nih. Bomba yang begitu memegang teguh lane yang dia miliki bahkan Melkiti pun tidak luput dari jangkauannya.
Kid Bomba biasa ya gameplay agresif banget juga tapi fail.
Aduh, ini dia waktunya untuk dikeroyok. Ada satu lagi battle race dan juga tadi yang Lopai dan bahkan tadi Dona walking. Bisa kaki Bomba bertahan. Kick Bomba masih bertahan dan Melkiti terjebak. Begitu kali ini Melkiti pun down. Violent require tadi langsung dikeluarkan sementara sekarang. Apa yang bisa dilakukan? Dimana one shotnya pun down, tapi pelnya pun lejam.
Dua untuk dua, tapi masalahnya Team Spirit mereka akan memberikan space ini untuk Hiko. Seharusnya kalau misalkan secara trade 2 untuk 2 adil, tapi enggak dengan adanya Hiko yang dapetin space. Dan ini Kid Bomba lama banget sih dia. Downnya lama banget dia, akhirnya mundur, masih bertahan juga dengan adanya space migration. Dan require ke connect 2, Pel memang in the end dia tumbang, tapi tukarnya sama one shot. Lumayan sih buat apapun, tapi kan
Sabar, kaki kita.
kita juga
Kita caster doang. Caster doang.
enggak ke kita kan? Enggak ke kita. Bukan. Dia ke sebelah Hiko.
Saya teman masuk ya. Saya teman loh.
Tapi sekarang dari The Spirit ya, mereka punya reaction dan gameplay yang cukup cepat juga rotasi dan terutama jangan sampai Homeboys ini ke base terus-terusan sama Kid Bomba. Kid Bomba punya kalkulasi dengan sisi ini bagus banget sih.
Bahkan tadi itu nama package ya. Benar-benar nama package tadi. Dia bertahan. Yang penting kan dari Yoyo masuk terus yo.
Ayo, putar terus.
Putar terus. Second ball-nya lagi tidak connect ke arah siapapun. Sementara sekarang Kit Bomba mulai bergegas ke arah dari salah satu player. Namun tadi ada tendangan dari Samuel masih belum matang dan juga Emil tetap melejam LKT. Menjadi korban keras Topeng aktif. 4 player down. Niko mencoba untuk bisa mendapatkan satu korban terakhirnya, tapi Zanami harus sadar.
Iya nih, Zanami juga menyisakan dirinya sendirian. Tak bisa berbuat banyak. Dan Hiko yang sudah join the fight, sudah memiliki damage yang cukup dan mencari weakness point dengan tepat. Akhirnya menjadi eksekutor yang bisa diandalkan oleh tim Spirit. Tidak terburu-buru untuk mengambil ke arah dari Turtle. Sepertinya mereka akan convert Turtle ini menjadi lord.
Mau jadi luar aja lah.
Iya, nggak perlu deh, ini terlalu tidak.
Udah jangan lama-lama.
Mereka mau ngasih pressure lagi ya. Dan wow, tahu tadi walaupun memang nendangnya ke arah yang berlainan ya, tapi tetap tim Spirit mencoba untuk membuat hal itu menjadi keuntungan tetap untuk mereka. Jadi mereka kejar lagi, mereka follow up lagi. Dan nanti sekarang sudah punya Sky Chaser. Walaupun masih no point nya juga, tinggal gimana caranya dia bisa mempertahankan diri. Tapi Emil ini terus-terusan dari lagi korban. Karena dia maju.
Oke. Udah warang gua buat
Saya momen. Nah, ini Lord yang dinantikan juga oleh tim Spirit. Akhirnya bisa didapatkan tanpa adanya gangguan yang cukup berarti.
Oke, Ivan belum ini bertahan kalau udah connect tadi antara dua player, tapi untuk sekarang Ivan dia pun masih berusaha bisa bertahan. Kit Bomba pencetnya masih bertahan, tapi tidak untuk waktu yang lama. Bahkan untuk sekarang Imannya bisa menjadi korban kembali. Pertempuran tempat terjadi di depan dari memang dimiliki oleh Homeboy dan Bell menjadi korban tambahan.
Ya, Kit Bomba intinya juga harus tumbang ya dengan vengeance yang sudah coba untuk dikeluarkan. Tapi begitu banyaknya juga resource dan waktu yang diperlukan untuk bisa menumbangkan Kit Bomba dengan adanya Blade Armor. Jadi itemnya sendiri. Sehingga Mel Cutie yang belum punya Haslau, jadi agak sedikit harus waspada. Begitupun dari Venom.
Yap, dan Saul masih menjadi satu tameng utama bagi rekan-rekannya, tapi tidaknya sekarang pemain dari Spirit mereka masih dalam keuntungan yang berlimpah.
Iya, ini Saulnya udah harus diantisipasi dia oleh Hopun.
Ya.
Ancang-ancang karena Flicker ready. Well, the Dragon juga ready.
Yap, itu dia. Lord akan masuk lewat bawah dan baru berhasil diajukan kembali. All defense sudah tidak ada. Lord akan melenggang bebas. Sementara Sawo masih mencari celah. Sawo punya flicker. Akan ada satu senap yang cukup mengejutkan. Tapi ditembakin Sawo cukup diam aja. Kit Bomba di depan berbeda. Dan Lordnya pun harus meninggalkan traction Wolf dan mau tidak mau.
Dia mundur dulu ya. Tapi tadi bagus banget sih untuk bagaimana men-trigger Holy Defense-nya ini ke arah minion.
Ya.
Sehingga itu nggak terlalu memiliki damage yang besar ke arah dari Lordnya. Nggak ada efek knockback-nya.
Sekarang Ivo udah bisa main.
Iya. Ini menit 10 dan juga Ventura terekspos dan bahkan turret dari tim Spirit belum ada yang tersentuh samsek.
Masih kokoh semua.
Masih kokoh, masih utuh semuanya.
Masih keren.
Pun Devil Healing sekarang dengan Malfit Gun mencoba menjadi harapan dari Homeboy untuk bisa bertahan.
Yap. Jadi tidaknya ada jarak tambahan lain bisa jadi sedikit ya. Karena dia tadi juga kan emang pepet terus sama Spirit.
Buat dia buat clear cepat lah, ini udah jadi jawaban dulu lah buat Malfit. Karena keadaannya sekarang Homeboy juga agak sedikit kewalahan. Gimana caranya mereka bisa memprioritaskan siapa yang mau farming, mau Emal kah, mau Mel Cutie kah. Tapi kalau misalkan bicara tentang adanya asuransi yang pasti, ini harus dituju kayaknya buat sekarang high ground ya, dan juga bisa nge-follow up secara instan
Ya.
siapapun yang nantinya kena sisi power dari Cell ataupun Iban.
Cuma masalahnya kan sekarang Ultimate cuma satu nih Ol.
Ya.
Sekalinya nanti Sparkle Vibration connect aja. Connect aja. Masalahnya dari tadi yang terlihat adalah setiap dari kesamunan gak kuat. Mereka tuh follow up-nya langsung tuh mencoba untuk pick up tuh. Makanya nih bisa dimanfaatkan oleh teman-teman dari tim Spirit yang lain apabila emang player yang mau maju.
Siapa aja ya.
Siapa?
Kalaupun bisa namanya punya verify, tapi kan masih ada Spirit, masih ada Spirit sendiri.
Betul.
Dan kalaupun juga nggak ada verify, nantinya weakness point yang pecah udah bisa netral. Iya. Apalagi ada Brute sekarang yang sudah selesai dari bombanya. Haskell juga Hiko udah kuat banget loh.
Satu nomor dulu yang emang bener-bener ngebalikin.
Iya, nyanterin kan.
Iya.
Mencari semuanya, mengusir mundur pemain-pemain dari Homeboys, dan yang memang harus juga merelakan Lord kali ini. Dan tim Spirit, dia memang pengen eksekusi cepat ya. tetap mendapatkan ronde kedua walaupun masih belum terlihat.
Yap, lawannya sendiri juga cukup ribet ya, kondisi beberapa lawan benar-benar bisa mengacaukan semuanya.
Yap.
Kalau bergantian mungkin setupnya bisa.
Dan sejauh ini juga belum ada yang punya winter cross ya sih buat nahan rembetan nantinya dari crossbow tank.
Dan udah ada satu lagi.
Well, tapi apakah itu akan menjadi jawaban pasti karena dia akan menjadi sasaran pastinya dari one shot dan juga tim bomba.
Yap, jadi kondisinya Sawo kagak berhasil bisa menendang ke arah salah satu player, masih berputar-putar saja di atas pun Sawo. Kehilangan momentum Sawo. Terpaksa dia mengeluarkan pindah.
Oke, dan sepertinya gagal untuk bisa melakukan inisiasi, tapi setidaknya dari turret bottom lane berhasil untuk didobrak dengan hadirnya Lord yang sekarang sudah berhasil untuk di-defend juga oleh Homeboy, tapi satu wave ini di tengah. Akankah menjadi pressure tambahan, tapi sepertinya tidak. Homeboy masih sabar banget, mereka nggak mau terlalu gegabah, mereka akan menunggu momen punishment itu hadir untuk mereka.
Ya, Iko tadi dari atas coba masuk tapi nggak bisa. One-one, berarti one-one jatuh. Soalnya dia lompat aja dulu.
Oh gitu ya.
Kalau nggak one-one dan bisa lompat mundur. Tetap nembak ke depan, tapi pas lompat ke belakang tetap mundur dalam perubahan. Bisa.
Oh, apa Paddock?
I'm offended dan Sawo down. Setelah sekarang Iko mencoba untuk bisa mendekatkan memberikan bantuan. Semua migrasinya cukup cepat. Ada kondisi terdengar Balaton dan ini dia Ivan. Tapi transform yang terbuka malah mengakibatkan mereka dalam ancaman begitu berarti. Coba lihat Iko yang mencoba bisa masuk ke area terdepan. Dan Minimal masih berhasil untuk bisa menyelamatkan diri. Dan Pel mencoba untuk bisa ke time cukup lama. Tapi Iko sudah join ke dalam pertempuran dan sakit banget kayaknya.
Oke, Sawo tukar dengan dari dua pemain. Akankah Team Spirit memberikan tekanan lagi karena sekarang 10.000 gold. Perbedaan yang cukup terasa. Magic Sentry diaktifkan tapi Iko sejauh ini masih belum bisa terhentikan.
Ya, tadi itu adalah pergerakan yang tertebak ya. Udah kayak ditunggu nih, animasi peliter langsung di break nih. Langsung kebuka tadi.
Iya, pintar banget ya untuk bocil-bocil itu
Ya.
Oke, dan sekarang dua wave akan coba untuk kembali mendorong ke arah defense dari Homeboy.
Ya, dan di atas Iko udah berhasil untuk menghasil rata-rata bentar lagi di tengah masih bisa ditahan. Kebulan lagi.
Tim Spirit dan Venturas akan cukup membuat dari Team Spirit ya berpuas dulu nih untuk sementara waktu, ditarik mundur lagi, gak mau terlalu memaksakan kehendak karena butuh bantuan kayaknya player ke-6 sebagai nantinya dobrakan lagi dengan ada Lord yang sudah muncul. Orang tua dicuri di tangan dari tim bomba, oke?
Bomba punya orang
Ya,
makin nikmat.
nah, yang penting dari Zidane Enigma ataupun Melkitinya gak valid nilai dari Team Spirit. Dan apakah akan ada kontes paksa karena sudah mulai zoning out habis juga sehingga bahkan mau kontes pun sulit ya, mau masuk aja mau ngintip aja gak bisa nih dari Homeboy karena dia tuh udah terlalu jauh, 11.000.
Apa?
11.000
Saya juga tahu kenapa itu bisa terjadinya cepat.
11.000 sih memang agak cukup bikin ber gitu ya.
Saya nggak bisa jelaskan ya, satu kali.
Kalau saya paham ya.
Tidak ada begitu cepat.
11.500 jadi lumayan jauh dibanding Liga ke-15 juga. Tapi Homeboy terkesan mereka juga sabar banget di buat defense
Ya.
mereka harus tunggu dan cari momentum lagi karena kan ada dua hero momentum nih, ada Ruby, ada Badang. Kalaupun nanti pemain-pemain dari Team Spirit yang mulai masuk ke area hajal dari Homeboy yang ada sedikit offside aja panik.
Oke, kita lihat akan seperti apa lagi senapnya karena Sawo yang tadi udah langsung jadi orang terdepan. Bomba, defensi udah mulai berasa spasial migration yang tadi connect dan berhasil mendapatkan langsung mulai bahkan sekarang Val menjadi orang yang membuka tadi dari crossbow tank. Ada fist break tapi tidak sempat.
Dan Team Spirit berhasil untuk bisa mendapatkan kemenangan perlahan tapi pasti.
Ya,
Gak terlalu dominasi tapi mencekik. Itu dia Team Spirit.
ini benar-benar tercekik kok.
Iya tapi kayak
Perlahan pelan-pelan gitu ya. Luar biasa, mantap.
mantap sekali.
Ya udah kalau begitu apakah kita akan berikan tuh terhentikan pasca mereka mendapatkan turtle. Jadi kayak ada beberapa hal yang mungkin fokus dari tim homeboysnya ke mana, mungkin contohnya di sini ke Iko, sehingga mereka melepaskan sumber objektif utamanya kayak turtle. Jadi kayak mereka tuh bingung call-nya mau kemana, call-nya mau orang, mau turtle, apa mau ngapain. Jadi kayak itu yang ngebuat Big Spirit tuh kayak lebih gampang buat nge-punishnya ketika mereka nggak ada fokus sama sekali. Keraguan bisa dibilang ya. Dan tapi perlu di note kalau misalnya memang mungkin artinya ada sedikit ya mungkin struggling, tapi yang penting yang mereka make sure ini Ciko-nya masih bisa farming secara stabil. Jadi kita lihat emang Ciko lagi dan lagi ya sangat bisa diandalkan. Dengan one-one-nya memang ya lihat di sini momen ini yang benar-benar kacau. Big Spirit megang kendali kacau banget. Ini 4 pemain tumbang dan itu ada objektif. Jadi kayak langsung pasti dapat semuanya. Ya. Turret, Turtle, Lord itu sangat mudah sekali untuk bisa dikendalikan. Ditambah lagi pertanyaan awal kita, Gon, kita di band maksudnya Lancelot gitu. Itu udah kayak aku cukup terkejut sih dengan draft dari coach Ervan yang biasanya kalau udah ngeband spesifik di situ ya udah pasti itu yang akan muncul. Tapi mungkin somehow mereka berpikir kalau ngambil Lancelot one shot itu something yang wrong atau something yang bad atau buruk banget, jadi makanya mereka berpikir seperti itu ya. Kondisi tadi Lancelot perfect ya, dan itu malah sebenarnya dari draft breaking mahal. Ini betul yang kayak oke, homeboys pancing one-one untuk defense ini malah enggak ngomongin Charlotte kalau yang ngelepas Lancelot dan kita bikin oke overthinking kayaknya kita yang tadinya mungkin strateginya kita utamakan dari one-one karena Lancelot terbuka terpaksa dalam tanda kutip diambil dan malah jadi one-one yang dulu.
Tapi sebenarnya secara keseluruhan untuk di game pertama ini benar-benar pure kena outdraft kah dengan unicorn yang tiba-tiba hadir di akhir, atau sebenarnya memang ada mistake-mistake dari eksekusinya juga nih yang lumayan fatal nih?
Kalau gue nemuin kayaknya emang alternatif back jungle sih, tapi itu juga udah di-prepare. Makanya tiba-tiba ngambil Fredrin atau jungler. Mereka ambil divisinya. Karena apa? Karena kalau divisinya ada di homeboys, Big Spirit bakal bonyok banget, terutama untuk one shot. Karena mau dari sisi manapun ini udah pasti bakal lumayan merugikan. Terlebih kalau tim build tank semakin lama, XP semakin banyak. Jadi itu akan sangat menguntungkan bagi divisi. Makanya dari kalau kita lihat Fast atau Fast Strong, terus kita ambil contoh Veldora, ini benar-benar dibocokin sama Boba.
Ini satu masalah juga ya penggunaan ini tangan kiri bobanya, dan secara keseluruhan kita bisa ngelihat game yang cukup panjang 16 menit finishingnya
16 menit 24
ditahan.
Oke, 50 menit berarti untuk sekarang total game time dari Big Spirit. Itu berapa tuh kira-kira? Untuk 50 menit pada posisi pertama, kemarin ada satu game lain menangkan. Posisi pertama berapa total? 53.
Oh, udah
wah, nggak
pasti
mungkin.
sih. Tiga menit
Tinggal lagi 3
kan.
menit. Makanya aku bilang yang paling possible itu juara duanya atau urutan keduanya, order kedua. Order kedua udah pas jalan 1 jam 1 menit. Jadi either way ada sekitar 8 menit, berarti 60 berapa menit? 1 jam 16 menit. 18 menit maksimum. 18 menit berarti urutan ketiga.
Tapi itu pun harus satu game ya.
Satu game.
Jadi udah 2-1 nih.
Kalau udah diganti udah otomatis. Sebenarnya kan itu yang menang.
Oh, yang menang itu
Yang menangnya. Iya. Total win game time.
Oke. Berarti sangat possible ya.
Iya, makanya ini data yang emang dibuatkan sama teman saya dari utara ini. Berarti kalau udah 18 menit kalah aja. Waduh, enggak, satu. No, maksudnya coba 12 menit kan? Itu dong. Maksudnya kalaupun emang Big Spirit menangnya 22 menit. 19 menit. Itu kalkulasinya lebih oke.
Kita agak beda.
Kita udah 18 menit kita ngalahin aja gitu.
Kita coba lagi juga.
Urutan kedua.
Bener, di game 3 coba yang lebih cepat gitu kan?
Ya, supaya jadi tetap positif kan ketika kalah kan terlupa dari hari baru.
Bener-bener kacau ya.
Lebih ke kacau gitu namanya.
Makanya diperebutkan itu satu slot langsung kan.
Iya.
Meskipun memang masih double bracket, tapi itu adalah opsi yang terakhir yang akan diharapkan dari kedua belah tim. Dan dari game yang pertama juga kita udah bisa ngeliat ya. Kalau untuk homeboys sendiri, sebenarnya menurut kalian masih punya potensi nggak sih? Kayak sebenarnya mungkin tuh masih bisa langsung lolos ke babak knockout ya?
Bisa kalau misalkan call dan targeting mereka tepat sasaran. Karena kalau di objektif kayak aku rasanya homeboys ini bingung loh, kayak mau apa dulu sih. Kayak Turtle 1 deh. Mereka tuh coba buat engage duluan, mereka coba buat enable jalannya duluan. Tapi ternyata mereka tuh tiba-tiba kayak targetnya akhirnya berubah ke orang. Untungnya menang tim fight. Kalau misalkan itu ternyata tim spirit targetingnya lebih bagus, ya itu udah kehilangan orang, kehilangan turtle, kalahnya lebih ngeri lagi sebenarnya.
Itu satu hal yang paling